Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all having a wonderful night tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Mars triggers, and we're going to be talking about Alpha Tactical on YouTube because this was a situation brought to my attention by some kind people on Instagram. So I thought this would be a great time to have some people on and chat about it. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves a little bit for the people here that don't know, and tell us what you guys do.
Well, I'm Pete from Alpha Tactical, and that's Jordan, who's retarded. So, yeah, we're just a small little family outfit that came to America from Australia to make some gun stuff, really. I did it for a while in Australia and had to come here because, obviously, it's the gun mecca.
Right. So, yeah. So talk to me about that. So you started out making gun parts in Australia, and then you moved to Texas, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah. Well, so in Australia, getting gun accessories is really difficult. Like, you've got a couple manufacturers, you have like some big ones, Magpul, all that sort of stuff, but then a lot of the stuff you buy is Chinese knockoffs. So, and to me, I'm not having that. Like, if you're paying full whack for something and it's not right, we got caught out many times on them, like SIG red dot things, and I took one. You take it to a range, and the lens falls out, and you're like, "Hang on, I'm pretty sure SIG don't do that."
That's funny.
Yeah, man. Well, it's tough, mate. You guys are very spoiled in this country for your firearm, your stuff. Like,
well, yeah. Every time I talk to somebody who's across the pond or whatnot, they talk about buying an optic or whatnot, and it's like 3 times the cost of what it is here. It's like, yeah, I'm glad that I'm here. So,
but the thing is, you're not even sure if it's real, so you're forking out all that money.
Yeah, you're buying from some random website that's going to ship it to you or something.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys how long have you guys been manufacturing stuff for firearms?
Oh, I don't know, a few years. Yeah, I was doing it when I started. I was I'd retired essentially. My wife had medical sensors and stuff, so she didn't really want me to hang around doing nothing. So I lasted being semi-retired for about 2 weeks, and I was just bored shitless.
Yeah.
So I got in. I just started. I was a member of a gun club, and I bought one of them Ruger chargers. 9mm Ruger charger.
Yep.
Which I love. It was in Australia. That was the closest thing we could have to an AR-9, because you're not allowed to have. You're not allowed to have a semi-automatic rifle, but you can have a semi-automatic pistol.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, explain that one. But when I bought it,
California here, right? California, you have to do all
10-round mags, same deal, 10-round mags, all that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. But the biggest thing is, when I got it, I didn't realize it didn't come with any kind of back end. And I was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And it cost, I think I paid, the first time I ever bought a Ruger charger, it cost me $1,500 Australian.
For just the rifle or the pistol?
Yeah, just the pistol. No accessories, just the pistol with a 10-round mag. And I'm like, wow, that's, but we're all pretty, and it's the ugliest gun on earth. Like, forgive me, Ruger, but and I was like, oh, and it didn't come. So I started off. I made a folding stock that went onto a Picatinny rug, so had a pick roll on the back. So got in the workshop, did some welding and some grinding and all that sort of stuff, and I made one. And I took it to the range the next day, and a mate of mine saw it, and he had this, and he goes, "Hey, I want one." And that's out. So, and I made him one, and then someone else saw it, and I made them one, and then some shops saw it, and I sold them to shops, and it sort of grew from there. And then I didn't like the way the chassis looked, so I changed the whole chassis up. I pulled it out and remade it. If you guys check out my YouTube channel, you'll see the progression of that gun throughout the years. And what we do with it now is insanely, like, it's really cool. Like, it's a really cool looking gun. Yeah.
So that's how you got your start, is with a Ruger Charger, and you didn't with
a Ruger Charger. Yep, 100%. 100%. 100%. In a garden shed with a drill press and a TIG welder.
Yeah, just making something in your shop. That's awesome. So you have a background in machining or welding, or at least you've done that off and on throughout your.
Well, so everything I used to do was on a manual machine. It was all like old manual machining, but now I've got the Tormac, obviously, and had to teach myself that. So that was a bit of a hurdle, because I don't have any of you guys watch my channel, but I don't own a phone. I don't do phones. No, I don't have one.
No, he doesn't.
Don't have a phone. Don't do. That's why I was shouting at this moron, because he was setting the phone up, and I didn't know what was going on.
Let's go over the names. It's Jordan and what was your name again, sir?
Peter.
Jordan and Peter. So Jordan, you handle all of the tech stuff.
Yeah, yes. He does all like the YouTube. I don't even watch my YouTube show.
No, I do the YouTube, the editing, and the videos and all that.
That was going to be my next question, because the editing on the videos is quite funny at times. So you're the one responsible for.
He does a lot. Yeah, I don't even.
So
honestly,
your plan, you start kind of this side business in Australia, making parts for.
It was just fun. It's always been about fun, and to me, like, money's a byproduct of me having a good time. It's just making stuff I want to make. If I don't want to make it, I'm not interested. But it just gets in the way, because I remember the first time we came over, we got invited to go to California. Not California, Colorado, wasn't it?
Yeah, Colorado.
Went up to Colorado just with this pissy little YouTube channel with a couple hundred subscribers. But their shop seen some of the stuff that we had made. And they said, "Hey, come over and come to our shop and we'll check it out," So we did, and had a bit of a blast. It was fun. Came down to Texas, and then some more people saw some of the stuff we did, and then we started getting orders. Then we realized really quickly that there's no way. We didn't understand the law that you couldn't. It's very difficult to send parts into America.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know if you ever seen my little 1022 chassis.
I don't think I'm familiar with it. No, I've only been watching your channel for a couple.
Am I allowed to show you the 1022 on your channel?
If it's just the chassis, I don't think you're supposed to show full firearms on a live stream. So,
yeah, we better not do that.
No.
Yeah.
We'll spare you.
So your entire purpose of coming to America was essentially to have a better time and an easier time building.
Well, yeah, it was just the hobby in Australia. You got to remember, in Australia, I was selling parts in Australia, New Zealand, England, Sweden was a big one. Yeah. South Africa, the Philippines. I was selling a lot of stuff in the Philippines, so I was starting to get a bit more serious in Australia. And then I came here and sort of fell in love with like tech. So I love tech. I love the people.
Yeah.
I still look at America as that last sort of, if you're good at something, you work hard, you can still make it here. It's one of the only countries you can. If you just want to break your back a bit and just don't give up, just keep on pushing. It's one of the last countries in the world that you can do it, because in Australia, it's very difficult. The government controls every single thing you do.
Yeah,
I was about to say that. Yeah, the overhead there has got to be ridiculous. Versus America's getting worse and worse, but compared to the rest of the world, we're still in a much better spot.
Well, I couldn't even get a bank account for my business. In Australia, I wasn't allowed a bank account because it was deemed immoral. I didn't sell firearms. I didn't sell serialized firearms. It was just accessories. And the banks would not give me a bank account to PayPal things online. I could not have a bank account. They wouldn't let me have a bank account.
Really?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
selling parts.
yeah. And if this is the thing in Queensland, you can open a brothel and have a bank account.
Of course.
Yeah, that's how insane that was. And we've been with a bank for 20 years. And I was like, hey, I just want a bank account for my company. And they said, what do you make? And I said, well, I make, stock, chassis, grips, just stuff like that.
Just purely accessories.
Just accessories. I've never sold serialized parts, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Never wanted to. I just like making cool stuff. So, that was one of those things. And then as it was getting bigger, it was getting harder and harder to sort of juggle that. Like, how do you make stuff and sell stuff when you can't take money?
Right.
So,
exactly.
so that's what I thought. So the company was started in Australia and then brought here. So Alpha Tactical was originally started in Australia.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you guys been in Texas now?
My boy's just coming to the front door with whatnot, Jordan.
That's fine.
But how long have we been here, John? 2 years, maybe?
Just over 2 years now. 2.5.
I don't think it's been over 2 years.
No, just over with the back and forward.
Yeah, so I'd come here for like 3 months on, and then go home and juggle everything. But my family's sort of been here for a year, almost a year, Nelly, or maybe a year, something like that. So yeah, it's been an adventure, I can tell you that. So we had a shop.
That sounds like quite the move. Was there a bit of a culture shock between Australia and Texas? And was Texas like the place you wanted to go?
Yeah, I always wanted to come to Texas. Always loved it. It's different and it's not different. Like, I think Texans are pretty close to what Australians used to be like. We back in the day, we didn't care much for people telling us what we can and can't do, and it's like Texas here. Like, if you tell a Texan he has to wear a seatbelt, he'll just cut that out of the car and throw it at you. He'd rather take the fine, or tell him he can't smoke, or what I mean. It's just it's very similar. Like, but then there's obviously huge differences. That you don't realize until you hear little things that you sort of go, "What? Hang on." Like, Americans like drive through everything. You have a drive through bank. Everything, and I'd never seen that before in my life. I'd never seen a drive-through bank. I always ask the question: do they do drive-through robberies?
Right. I mean, actually, yes. Yes. There are people that have done drive-through robberies. Essentially, that's why if you go to a drive-through bank, it's like it's all very secure, and you have to like put things in an envelope, and they'll pull it back through a panel or whatnot. But yeah,
I thought there was a woman at the door at the thing. So there's no woman there. I've never been through one. I've never been through one.
America is all about convenience. So if you have to get out of your car, that's not convenient.
Oh, I know that. I know, but I love it. I'm driving on the wrong side of the road. We've had some experience on that. Me going down the wrong side of the road in Houston. Yes. It's when you go under them overpasses that it gets really confusing for me. Because there's two.
Well, you've been doing it your entire life, and then now you have to do it backwards over here in the States.
Yeah, exactly. We do it the correct way. Yeah, we have to do it the correct way.
Exactly. Everybody says that. Everybody.
You guys have to change everything. So,
so let's move forward a little bit. So you moved to America, right? You've been doing that for off and on for a couple of years, let's say.
Yep.
And then, how does this FRT business come about?
Well, I met Alex from Trigger Empire in Abilene, of all places, because we were just working gun shows. I was selling chassis, grips. Like, everything I sell, I make. So I don't sell anyone else's products. I make everything here in-house. So, and then, I don't know, about a year ago exactly, roughly, I got in trouble with the ATF because I was making Texas-made suppressors. So I'm the guy that they were taking to the Supreme Court for the, suppressor deal.
I wasn't aware of that. Interesting.
You do your research on me, my man.
I didn't go back far enough. I didn't go back far enough. Jeez.
So, yeah, the ATF shut my original shop down in Reno, came there, guns out, sirens, It was just my wife and my 7-year-old boy with me.
Yep.
And they just went a bit old heavy-handed with that. But we in Texas, so we had the HB 957 law.
Mm-hmm.
And before I even started that, I went and saw, local police and sheriffs and state troopers all said, hey, is this okay? Can we do this? Oh, yep, it's fine. And I even had the law thing printed out on my wall and
I had it framed and everything.
I had it and everything. They came in and everything we did was to that law, to the absolute to the letter. So they came in and shut me down and they took all our money, all our other phones, all our computers. They pulled the hard drive out of my CNC. They've actually taken our passports. I can't leave America now if I try.
Yep.
I don't have a passport.
That litigation is still ongoing?
Yeah. Well, I haven't been charged with anything. Nothing. Not a thing.
Right. Well, I mean, the ATF is just they're just flexing on you, essentially.
Well, they've taken our passports and all that sort of stuff. So I'm a political prisoner at the moment.
Well, right. What I'm saying is like they don't care about Texas law, right?
No, not at all. They're not going after. But that's the thing. They're not going after all the people smoking marijuana in Oklahoma, are they? All the shops over there. Not bothered about that.
Mm-mm.
So in Australia, the states govern your firearm laws. So each state has different laws, and the states are responsible for the firearm laws. So Queensland has a different law to New South Wales. And I'm amazed that here, well, the thing is here too, the states can take away your Second Amendment, and they're all good with it. The ATF are great with that. They're not going to come around. But if they add something, then they're going to go, oh, yeah, no, we don't like that.
Yep.
So that was...
They like to be the ones enforcing the laws, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. Shall not be infringed and all that sort of stuff. That's what I thought that meant. But, and it's true that I've met the governor, Brian Hughes, and a few other senators, and Pat Fallon, and, the fight still goes on, mate. So how I met Alex is that all the FRT thing was going on, through courts and all that sort of stuff. And I originally said, oh, I want nothing to do with that, until... And he originally told me that he was involved in all that sort of stuff and he knew all these lawyers. And I said, hey, maybe they can help me, can throw it my way a bit. I'm desperate. We were going to church food banks just to feed, to eat. Like, they left me with $40 the pocket in our name.
So they took everything.
Everything.
Essentially ruined you.
Yeah, tried to. But I'm not one for quitting, mate. And if you work hard and you know how to do stuff, you can just keep on trucking, or try to. But it's been stressful. And then that's how I originally met Alex, was just I thought he was part of that whole thing. And then a few weeks later, met him again. And the AK thing had never really come up. He was just talking about his super safeties and all that sort of stuff. And he goes, oh, I want to help you out and all that sort of stuff. I'm like, okay. Which I'm learning, though, in America, if someone says they want to help you, it's like the government saying, we're here to help. It's
exactly.
You got to sort of...
Very, very scary. So usually, they see you're in a bad position, and then now you're easy to take advantage because now you need them, right? Because...
I'm not used to that, so I'm used to your word is your bond, mate. If you tell me you're going to do something, you do it. If I say, I can promise you one thing. If I say I'm going to do something for you or do something, you better believe I'm going to do it.
Yep.
I ain't going to quit. So I'm still here fighting. And I could have left at any point. I could have signed what is the thing they actually want me to sign?
Basically a non-disclosure.
No, it's not that. Pre-trial diversion thing.
Right, yeah. It's where essentially you admit to guilt or something like that, and then you just leave. Is that...
Yeah, but... I don't believe I've done anything wrong. Like, most of my clientele were sheriffs, police, state troopers, and rangers. That was the only people. So, But yeah, we met him in Abilene, did that, and then I met him a few weeks later. Where was that at? San Marcos or something like that. And then he said, "Oh, we've got this AK trigger idea, and we want to try and get it going." And he goes, "Oh, you do machining and all that sort of stuff." I said, "Yeah." And then a couple of weeks later, he's what was his name? Jesus. He's been on my videos.
Yep, I saw him.
He came round because he was partners with Alex. So they came around, or he came around, had checked it all out, and I said, "Well, show me what you got." And he had some printed things and stuff like that, and it didn't really work that great. And I said, "Well, that's even if it was metal, it wouldn't have worked properly."
Mhm.
And I said, "Okay." And then we went out and had something to eat and a drink at Applebee's or something.
Yeah,
And
Applebee's.
that was with Alex. And they said, "Oh, we got this thing going, this trigger con going." I went, "Mate, and this was like 2 weeks." So they didn't even have a metal part, didn't even have a functioning, proper running.
So all they had was 3D printed prototypes.
Yeah, they had one part that they got made in China, but it wasn't right, it wasn't correct.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Oof, that's a bit dodge." And I said, "Okay, leave it with me." So we started redesigning it, and then obviously you got to write a G code and get it coded. Then you got to cut jigs. Normally, if you go to a machine shop, say, "Hey, I've got this part. Can you get it into production?" You got to go, right. Well, it's going to be 12 weeks and 50 grand, mate, because
Right, 100%.
it takes time. He's like, "Oh, we got 8 days." Yeah, it can't happen, mate. It's not something that can happen. It's impossible.
I think you stayed awake for almost 4 days just to get it done for him.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to get, because the whole thing it was all about, right, we're all going to go into this, and I'm going to look after you, you're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I said, okay, fair enough. Again, so I sunk every bit of money we had, because we've been working gun shows, we finally saved some money up. And I kept saying, hey, you got to start, a machine shop doesn't run on goodwill. It doesn't. Like, it's expensive. Right. Running the CNC all day will burn electricity like you wouldn't imagine, mate. It just eats everything. You break a bit, there's $50. You break, everything's expensive. Getting metal is
Parts.
Just the 4140 that I use now is so expensive. But I want it to be sort of that premier. I don't want it to be crap. I want my shit to be the best out there. Yeah. I want it to.
They convince you to make these parts for them in a very, very tight time frame. Now,
and then I started. Yeah, which I went, okay. I didn't. I said, right, it won't be production. I said, we'll try and make a few parts to go to that. And then and I did, and they weren't right. They weren't the best. I wasn't all that happy with them. And then they took them to TriggerCon. And I was like, okay, we were at a gun show working in Nacogdoches, me and my wife. And Alex rings up, "Oh, we won gold. And I went, "Oh, that's brilliant, great, awesome." I didn't really know what that meant. Fantastic. Yeah, I need you to go back to the workshop today. There's like 9 in the morning or 10 in the morning. I'm at a gun show, which I paid for tables and accommodation and all this shit. Had my little boy with me as well, because he was one at ski. They went to like a 4-day week here for school. So we dragged, and I went, and Jackie was so out of it, she didn't want to do it, because that's how we make our money. And Jackie never trusted him to start with, because every time I started was making stuff, they'll joke around saying, "Oh, well, we can get these made overseas." And I was like, hang on. If I'm putting all this work on, I want to be the guy that makes them.
Right.
I'm in this. Oh, yeah, well, I'm going to look after you. I'm going to do all this and do all that. And I should have known.
Talk to me about that. They were planning on taking your prototype work, some of your design improvements.
They wanted the CAD, because I had to redesign all the the profile, the part profiles, get it to work, jigs. You can't just throw a piece of metal in a CNC and hit start. It just doesn't work. So, it costs money to do. And they what
I wanted to know specifically is, so they're going to take all of your hard work, have it manufactured overseas, and then bring it back into the country as
not even that. Yeah, that was which is not what we agreed on at all. But it just kept getting to a point where it was never enough. Like he had 10 or 15 triggers at TriggerCon on the Friday. And then the Saturday, we need more for this, and all this crap. And I went, what? So I came home and started cutting more triggers on that Saturday. We left the gun show, mind you. So we normally would make about $3,000 or so on the weekend on a gun show, like a good one. That would, that would get us through the month almost. So I came home. We'd spent all this money, made none. Jackie didn't want it. Jackie never trusted him. And she
Mhm.
said, this is how we make our money. We haven't made a cent out of him. So, and I was like, all right.
So let's rewind there for a second. He has not paid you anything yet.
No, he paid for about 2 weeks' work, and he wanted these triggers. And I'm saying, mate, you got to pay something. So, and I said, right, you owe me, you owe me a lot of money. I said, you need to pay $5,000 to this law firm that I'm like paying off. I said, I'm not giving you another trigger. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing, because I haven't received any money, nothing. And I'm like, no, not doing a thing. $5,000 to this law people, or you don't get a trigger. You don't get. No, I stop. I turn the tap off.
Now, $5,000 is not the amount you were owed. That was just enough.
Yeah, that was nothing. Yeah, that was because that was just to pay for a lawyer thing I was paying for, and that was like nothing.
Basically,
nothing.
The work you had done. Right.
Yeah, not even. It didn't even cover the first week of what we'd done. And I'm like, this, but then because that was like a couple of weeks after, and I'm thinking, you know what? I haven't received just nothing, and bills are starting to grow.
Right. Well, I mean, for reference, so I used to work in a CNC shop as a
sales guy. $100 an hour. Yep.
Well, I was going to say our machine rate internally was $120 per hour.
Yeah.
But for small-time jobs, it would be $200 an hour.
Yeah, no, I quoted. I was trying to be fair because I wanted to be part of the whole thing, and it was $100 an hour running time, and we were putting in 12, 14 hours because he wanted to get this done, and you can't
And for 2 of you per day or 3 of you per day?
Just 2, mostly just me. And when he'd get home, he works somewhere else, so he'd get home at 5:30, and then come and help me.
Yeah.
And then me and Jackie, I was grabbing Jackie to help me, my wife, who's not a machinist or any of that. But try one person, it's impossible to do. It's impossible. You can't cut, and you can't stand at the machine and do other bits as well, which you have to do. So it's just, and I was just getting to the point where I was to a point begging him for money, begging.
Right.
Again, back to fucking going back to the church. And I told him that. I said, mate, we've got no money for food. I said, I am broke. Oh, well, can you just do this for me? Can you just do that? I need another 10 triggers. And I'm like, I don't have enough money for food. You want me to go out and buy fucking metal?
Yeah.
I said, I'm sorry, I've got kids here that need to eat. He didn't get that. It was all about their fucking shit. And I just was getting sick of it. I just said, this is insane. This is insane. It's just, I can't work. And I'm like, all right, well, and then they won the gold, and I came back, and it was just the most ridiculous thing ever. Like, he'd paid for all these people to go to TriggerCon, like these people that have nothing to do with firearms, nothing. He rented a Tesla, mind you, to drive up from Austin in a Tesla. I'm like, pay your machinist.
Yeah.
If you can afford all that shit, pay your machinist.
Mm-hmm.
Pay the guy making the parts. That would, you know what I mean?
This, when we talk about TriggerCon and winning gold, let me pull this up for you real fast. So this is from, just for the people on stream right now, this is from TriggerCon. They had your triggers there. This is actually funny. This is Luke C from TF. I know this guy, Luke from TFB TV.
Yep.
And your trigger got a lot of praise. In fact, it won, I think, sorry, let me pull that back up. It won most innovative product at TriggerCon, I want to say, which is actually a convention that I've been to. I was there not this year, but last year, the year before.
Well, that gun,
it used to be in Washington.
That gun that they're shooting there, you know where we first tested the parts in that? We've got it on my
backyard.
My backyard. That gun, I can show you him shooting it. That gun,
it's the same 68 one. Actually, I can probably pull it up.
That's the one. Yeah, we stopped that out there with parts I made and broke parts and all that sort of stuff. So there you go.
It's the same one that's getting shot right
and
there.
When Jordan put that up on our YouTube, Alex was so pissed off because it turns out he's been telling people he's going to have this trigger for like 12 months. And all these people 12 months ago paid him all this money for this trigger and never got it.
We haven't even talked about that. So they have been allegedly taking deposits on a trigger for the last year.
Yes, but not even that. He's still doing it. He was at Tyler a few weeks ago, which one of my mates was there, and he had his guys there charging a $400 deposit for an isolate trigger, ready to go, done in a box, send it to you for $200.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because as I said, I don't have a middleman. Whatever they go to sell them at, I'm gonna beat their price to the point where it'll be, I'll give it away.
Mm-hmm. So, to be clear, the same trigger that was showed off at TriggerCon.
I made them triggers. They didn't have any. They didn't have any triggers to take that. They had some fucking 3D printed ones.
Let me see if I can pull this up because I don't know if I can show their website.
Yeah, they've got my machining. No, I think he shut it down because he's got some legal shit going on right now. Some of his investors are about to sue him.
I was just actually looking at their product page for it because if you look here, yeah, so Trigger Empire wins most innovative accessory at TriggerCon 2024 for the Kono, aka Assisted Reset Trigger, which is the trigger that you guys make. That is your trigger that you help design and test fire.
Yeah, and they didn't even mention me. Didn't even say, hey, thanks for the... I was up till 3 in the morning that morning, that Saturday night. That's my machine. That's my...
Well, I pulled this up because I was looking at their website and I was like, that looks very familiar because that is the same one that you have on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, and I don't even make them like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That was too inefficient.
Right, so...
if you go on my YouTube, but you can see that's all my shit on there.
Yeah, so on their website, they used to have this as a pre-order, right? Or a deposit. You could put a deposit down. So $500, and they took it away. So you can't pay them any money now. You can only sign up for an in-stock. But you believe that they are currently in legal trouble with other suppliers or for some other reason for not the parts that they paid for?
Well, yeah, my understanding is, and I met some of their guys on the weekend. We were at Fort Worth show this weekend, which was good fun. I was supposed to be doing a YouTube video about the behind the scenes, but I met some of the guys and I don't know, but I feel them guys in that picture, a couple of them are, not all that happy with. I don't think Jesus is with Alex anymore or something. He's doing his own thing or some other shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah, Mum was saying he's doing his own thing.
Yeah, no idea. But you got to remember, to me, well, but I don't know. Well, was the 50% owner of it with Alex, so he's just as, he was the one telling he's going to take it overseas and do all this shit over there. Fine, but don't. Because I've got this whole, I cannot stand buying anything from China. I fucking refuse to. I would rather just lick my own ball sweat than buy Chinese-made shit. I hate it. I fucking hate the fact we used to be, like America and Australia, we used to be our own superpower of manufacturing. We fucking let it go to a bunch of moon-faced assholes.
So...
probably just up for all you Chinese fucking people that watch the show. Sorry, you industrious little bastards. No. It's your government I don't like. I love you guys. Lucy Lou, don't come and fuck me up.
Oh, jeez. All right, so we have these guys. They're selling this trigger for an insane price. You have all of this time, all of these costs built in. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars in hours, not including parts, energy costs, all that.
Not even including the triggers that he has. He had over 50 of them he hasn't paid for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that was driving me mental as well. He was going around to shows and doing all these YouTube things, and he knows I'm struggling fighting the ATF trying to stay in this country. And all I wanted to do was get my name out there to people to help me. Because I'm up shit creek trying to fight these guys. It's the government, and I'm some pissy little Australian, And so we took advantage of that, which I don't know. I'm gullible because I take people at their word. If you say you're going to do something to me, fucking do it. Just do it. It's like the other night we're supposed to have this interview, but I got too drunk out the front. Sorry, people. I'm Australian. I'm drinking beer.
So you're up in this bad place. They put you in a terrible financial spot. You've given them a product, all of that. Now you decide, well, what's the only way to get out of here? So now you're actually taking basically what
I
you're
told
making-
Alex, no, I gave Alex a contract, and in the contract it states, if I don't receive payment, I will take the product to market.
Yep.
Okay.
And I tried everything, payment plans, ringing him, he wouldn't even answer. And then when Jordan did that video, and I said, right, fuck it, you want it? I'm going to buy it. The next day, he was fucking like trying, and I didn't want to talk to him. I was like, fuck you, you've had all this time. He turned up at my house once at like 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to get me to make these, you know what he said he could get the parts made for? $5 each. Not in this fucking country. I don't know how. Yeah, the metal costs more than that. I said, when are you going to get it made out of plastic? So this ain't 3D. So the parts I use now is 4140 stainless steel and titanium. So I ain't fucking around.
Very cheap stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, how the fuck can you do that? Right? You know what the titanium plates cost? Then you got to bend all that shit. And then it's like that. You got to cut it. You got to heat treat it. And I'm so open, man. I make sure everyone can see that we make it right here in our oh, someone else popped up.
we got Mr. Clayco. He wanted to hop on, so I'm excited to have him on.
Oh, mates.
How's
your
evening going, sir?
Oh, it's been going good, man. I had to hop in on this one, but don't let me interrupt if you guys are deep in conversation right now.
Well, you probably have more information on this than I do because you've had actual time with the Trigger Empire FRT, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh man, and what a wild ride it's been. A bizarre interaction from start to finish, as I'm sure these guys can attest.
Mm. So what's your take on the outside view, Clayco?
Well, I can tell you how I got tied up with these guys. It was simple. I saw all the TFL videos that were going around of them at TriggerCon. Everyone was talking about this trigger. I'm getting tagged like crazy. Oh, you got to try it. A buddy of mine that has another YouTube channel, he goes by Fit and Fire, Mark.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He was there, and he's at their booth, and he name drops me. He says, hey, you guys should contact this guy, Clay. You guys are in Texas. He's in Texas. You're fairly local. I'm sure he'd like to try it out. So he made the connection, and they reached out. And the whole time I was talking to a gentleman named Julian. So
yeah, that's the Colonel.
That's the Colonel.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything about the dynamic. I didn't know anything about Trigger Empire, where they came from, nothing. All I knew was the Trigger had to work because they won this big award at this big trade show and everyone's talking about it. And I make AK videos. It made all the sense in the world to film this damn thing. And my day job had me in Austin at the time. So they're in Austin. I was in Austin. It made sense. So they asked me to come by their office, which was actually Julian's house, which the first thing I thought was a little bizarre.
I've never even been there. They didn't ask me.
Yeah. So they tell me, hey, let's have a meeting. Come by our shop and we'll give you one of the triggers, show you how to install it, the whole thing. And I end up coming to like a neighborhood, and I think I'm at the wrong place. And the whole interaction was bizarre. And let me just say, the Colonel was always super kind and polite. I've never really understood where he fit into the whole thing. I'm guessing he was like an investor or a money guy. But Alex was the guy that I was being told that this is the guy, this is the kid that I need to talk to. Alex was at the house. He comes outside. We meet. And it was so funny because I don't know if I'm at Alex's house, if I'm at this Colonel's house. I'm then told very quickly that Alex said, this isn't my house. This is the Colonel's. I'm like, it's a nice freaking house, dude. And I could tell like Alex drove a BMW and just the whole thing was, he seemed very young to like be in a situation like this. And I think he's what, 22, 23 years old, something like that. Super young guy.
Young, but I didn't know he was that young. Jeez.
Very, very young.
Yeah.
And I get to the house. The Colonel's dog gets out. So I watch Alex chase this dog around for like 30 minutes across the street. And the whole time I'm asking myself, why did I say yes to this? Like I'm in some dude's house. This isn't a shop. I don't know this kid. All I saw were some TFB videos, and now I'm watching this dude chase a dog. The whole thing just felt weird.
Anyway, I can promise you, if you come to my workshop, the last thing this fat ass is doing is chasing a fucking dog.
Yeah.
I would shoot that some bitch and leave it there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So we go inside, and I remember me and Alex sat at a table, and he had his Trigger Empire shirt on, and I remember his phone's blowing up off the hook. And he would take the calls and he would say, Alex, Trigger Empire. And every call was people saying, hey, I found your website. I just want to know if this is legal. Like, can I own this? And Alex would give him the whole spiel about, well, it's legal right now. You should be fine. And he's like taking orders over the phone. He's doing all of this over the phone the whole time I'm there. And I'm just sitting there at this dude's table in a strange house. Finally, we get to talking and he tells me the whole history, how at a young age, he created a website where he was selling triggers for other companies. He was selling...
that?
I never heard that.
Yeah, so he started a website selling other people's triggers. He was actually selling forced reset triggers from another company through his website and just had the epiphany one day, wow, I should make my own trigger.
Are you talking about Wide Open?
I don't believe it was Wide Open.
Okay. Because I know they were infringing on the original FRT. And then they got...
Yeah, well, apparently he was getting sued on that or some bullshit. That's what he told us.
Yeah.
But he told me too, he only first ever used a gun 2 years ago.
It was clear he was not a AK guy or a gun guy when I was there. It was very, very clear he was out of his element, just being around guns in general.
Yep.
Weird. So he was literally just chasing money. This is a fast way to make money, because if you can put out an FRT trigger right now while they're hot, or a super safety or anything, you can sell a lot of them right now.
Yes, it was a business thing.
Hey, people, go buy it then. I'm not much of a businessman. I make my shit in a shed in the backyard. Hey, mate, you're in Texas. You can come to me anytime you want, and I'll show you where it was born. And you can tell me. Yeah, you tell me if I'm full of shit or not. You can come here. You can run the machine. I'll pull the parts. I'll make every part of it in front of you. How's that? Every part of it.
So the Colonel sent me your video after the Colonel and Alex had their breakup.
Yeah.
Which is how I found out about you guys. Never once, while we had this meeting when I was at their house, never once did they say anything about you guys, nothing. All I ever heard was Colonel was backing them with money. Alex was the guy that designed the website and came up with the company. Jesus was the guy that designed the trigger. That's what I was told at the meeting. Jesus was the designer. Mm-hmm. Alex and Julian got together with money and started putting it out into the world. And they told the whole world that these triggers were 2 weeks out. He was telling every phone call that came in, oh, we're shipping them at the end of the week, And I thought, well, this will be really good timing for a video. It's a cool product. It's about to hit the market. It'd be cool to get an early video on it. Regardless that I'm going through this great length just to get a sample. This is just crazy. I've never been in a situation like this.
And well, the reason was, so this is interesting, and remember when I asked for that $5,000? I'm saying, I want that fucking money. I wouldn't give him any more triggers because I needed money. We were literally, my wife was crying in the backyard because we had to go beg for fucking cans of food from the church. And thank God that they did. And neighbors would come around and give us meat out of their freezer and stuff like that. And I thought, this is fucking insane. How can I put my family through this? We were doing fine, up until I met Alex. We were doing okay. We had some money. We at least we could buy food.
Yeah.
And I invested everything I had in all this shit. And then he came to us. I've got this special guy. He's got to come. And I'm like, fuck you. Fuck you. You promised me you're going to help me pay this lawyer and all this sort of bullshit. And I just dug me. I said, no, you're not getting a fucking thing. You're not getting a thing.
It was, so yeah, that was all shitty when I found out about it. But before that happened, the interaction I had with Jesus, so I have the trigger and he asked what AK was I going to install this thing. And I brought a PSA crank. That was the one. Mm-hmm. For the life of Alex, he couldn't get the thing installed in the PSA crank at their house. And he said, it takes some finagling, but you'll figure it out. So I get it installed and I go to the range and I bring 2 backup guns just in case. It didn't work at all in the crank. So I ended up texting Julian. I said, hey man, the trigger's just not working. And he says, look, I'm going to send my guy to you right now. So he makes Julian drive 6 hours. I thought this guy, Julian, so if anyone watches the TFL videos, Julian's the guy, not Julian, Jesus. You'll see Jesus in the videos. He introduces himself as the engineer. He sends this guy 6 hours to my local range. I thought Jesus was local. When Julian says, yeah, I'm going to send my guy, he'll be there. I didn't know he made the dude drive overnight with his wife to come to the...
Yeah, they came here first. And he lives not far. He lives about 30 miles from me.
very far from me, and he drove all night. He
Where are
shows up
you
at the
at?
range.
Whereabouts are you?
I'm about
I
an
mean,
hour north of Houston. So the range that I was at the time is in Eagle Lake, Texas, which is about an hour as a crow flies west of Houston.
holy, that's a because he came here. He came here before he went down there.
Yeah.
To try get some more shit, and I wasn't going to give him anything.
So we tried 3 of my AKs. We couldn't get the trigger to work, so we ended up swapping some parts out of the Polish AK that he had, which is the one I believe shows up in a lot of y'all's footage. It's the blue one with the Zenit Co on the front, or I believe it's Bar War. We finally get it to work in an M90, and it's working. It's working. We make the video, and at the end of the day, I'm asking Jesus, I'm like, so where'd you come from? And he said 6 hours. I'm like, they made you, bro. I would have told you to stay home. Like, this video wasn't worth that. He goes, no, it's fine. My wife's in the car. I'm like, you have your wife with you too?
And his little boy, baby.
And his little baby. And I'm like, man, I said, well, while you're here, I have a question. Number one, why are you selling this thing for $500? It didn't work in like half the guns we brought here today. He says, hey, I've been telling these 2 guys, it should be like $250 at most. It's a first generation trigger. We're a no-name company. No one knows who we are. And we're selling $500, and we don't even have a product yet. We're taking prepayments. It's not smart. He says, but I'm one of 3 guys I got outvoted. And I said, man.
Well, that's the thing. I tried to fight with them and saying, hey, there's no way. And I kept saying, $500 for some parts in a bag.
Well, right. Let's talk about that for a second. So it's not a trigger. It is some spare parts, right? That then gets assembled into a trigger, right? And that allows it to convert to a forced reset trigger.
Yep.
That's
well, after Christmas. Sorry.
Yeah, it's more It's more of a conversion kit than a regular trigger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Parts kit. Like if you go on my website and all my videos, I always say, I'm not fucking responsible. If you can't make it work, then, and everyone rings me every day, will it work in this? I don't fucking know. How do I know? I ain't got 15 fucking thousand AKs. I've got one busted one that we keep shooting and breaking at. Because I've.
Yeah, I've seen your videos. Dude, you're hilarious. But you know what's funny? When I would bring that up to Alex, and I know everyone's been telling Alex, dude, $500, you're smoking crack. His reasoning was he would say, well, Clay, let me ask you a question. What does a legal to own full auto AK cost? And I said, I feel like I know where you're going with this, but I'll bite. It's expensive. Let's say 20 grand. He's like, exactly. So that's an expensive experience. This gets you close. Why shouldn't this be an expensive experience? I said, Alex, no one's gonna buy that. He says, well, I'm just saying.
That's why it should be expensive. That people did, because there was a lot of hype around it. So they were accepting money for approximately a year.
Yeah, but they didn't get triggers.
Well, right. They never got triggers. So that's why there's like a class action lawsuit against them currently, because, we're talking without even many sold, even if it was just in the hundreds at $500 a pop, that's stealing a lot of money from people.
Yep.
So my question is, if they weren't manufacturing the stuff, where did the money go?
Well, it didn't come to me, mate. Still haven't got any out of him. I'm still
was it all just spent on marketing hype, like driving 6 hours so that Clayco can do a video on it, so that there can be some hype on it, going around to different trade shows, TriggerCon, like it seems to me that it was like the product doesn't really exist other than what Alpha Tactical Mars Triggers makes. Right. Outside of that, it's not real.
The little bit of info that I stopped talking to all these guys, even Julian, even though I feel like maybe he wasn't. I don't know. I don't really trust any of the guys involved as far as I can throw. But the way Julian explains it, that Alex was spending a buttload of money on like a really expensive apartment he was trying to move into, a lot of food, just really spending a ton of money. So after my video went live, Alex got very upset that in the video I say the price is crazy. Like, if it works in your gun, cool, it's really fun, but the price is crazy. So he called me within, I'm talking minutes of it going live, and he says, man, everyone's going to say it's expensive because you said it's expensive. I said, Alex, the whole internet was saying it was expensive before the video ever went live. I told you that. What do you want me to do? And he's like, man, could we like recut the video? I'm like, that ain't happening, dude.
Right.
So what do you want me to do here? And he says, I feel like everyone's going to have that opinion now. bro, have you been on Reddit lately? Have you been on Instagram? Everyone already has that opinion. I'm just confirming what the internet says. Yeah, it's a cool thing. $500, not even close. Not for the amount of work it takes to get it to work. If you have an AK it even works in, it's silly.
Right. Well, in some cases, it's more expensive than what you're putting it into, and
Correct.
it doesn't necessarily work 100% of the time. And what's
Well-
the longevity on one of these parts?
Mine, yeah, they're pretty good. The problem is it depends on the heat treat too. So we do it. The heat treat's the trick. It's the little triangle bit that that goes in the trigger. That's pretty hardcore. It's because it's thick. But the locking bar part that has the rod that attaches, and that's what if you didn't have the triangle bit, it'd just be a runaway. You know what I mean? It'd be like a super safety, but it wouldn't reset your trigger, so it'd be illegal.
Right.
So one of them, and to be fair, one of them broke the other week. So I fucked up the heat treat, but we've sold a few hundred now, and they're all been pretty good. Because I do 4140, we heat treat them, and then we temper them, try to take some of that brittleness out. But sometimes they break, but I just send them a new one. I send them a whole new kit. So, I'm not ripping no one off at all, and I refuse to. And after the year, like we've got that whole, shut up Jordan thing where they can buy the thing for like $150 or some shit, which is, $200 to me. And after the year on like Christmas, I've got a whole heap of triggers that I know work with it. So you can just put it in the trigger, put the sleeve in, and go to, that's one less job you don't have to worry about. So I just got to wait. I don't make them, to be fair. I don't make that trigger. So it's just the guy. And the thing I've loved about this last couple of months, there's a heap of guys that buy my trigger and they ring me out and they say, will it work in this? I say, I don't know. But then they get it working and they share it on their forums and all this. So I say, yeah, you got it. So there's a whole network now of these guys that are like me. I got called a redneck in one of my videos a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, oh, well, I ain't breaking. I probably am. I drink beer and make gun shit in the backyard workshop. I couldn't be any more redneck, could I? And
fit right in with Texas.
Yeah, exactly. And so all these guys, and a guy got one to go, and I was adamant it wouldn't work in this mini Draco. Adamant. I said, mate, I'll sell it to you, but I don't think it'll work. I've never seen one work. Man, this cat got that thing burned and sent the video of it, and he's done a full how he did it. Like, what's his working classless or something?
Classless 84.
He's brilliant. And every time he tries to put a video out there, YouTube just smash it. And so I think we should try to put it on Rumble or something else. I don't know how, because I keep getting thrown off YouTube as well.
Well, exactly. If you guys need help setting up other social media where that is a little bit more friendly to gun stuff, just let me know. And then you can link it on your website so that it's easier for people to find. Now,
Yep.
Well, yeah, so let's move into you guys. So essentially, you get screwed out of all this money, right?
Yep.
You have all these parts. And so now in your contract that you signed, you said, hey, if you guys don't pay me, I'm going to put these up on my website. And
no,
so
he wouldn't sign it. He never signed that contract. And I said, well, mate, too bad. You want me to make parts and do this shit. There's that's it. You don't come back to my house a day later saying, oh, no, it's good. I'm happy. Yeah. Right, fine. You better start paying. And we were in Lubbock. And I was like, I rang him. He wouldn't answer. I kept ringing. I said, look, mate, you're going to have to make payments. Just $200 a week or so. You've got the bill is a lot, It's much money.
That's nothing compared to what they owed you.
And I'm like, I need some help with some money. Like, I really need some help. And he would like, oh, yeah, no. And my wife kept saying, look, do you need help running a business? She's saying, look, we didn't. He kept saying, we kept telling you start pre-selling. I said, we kept saying $500. Just why are you trying to do that? You better do the McDonald's thing where you sell a cheeseburger for $1. But you sell a million of them. There's $1 million. What's it cost? A cheeseburger, 40 cents. Right. But he's all about, and he wouldn't listen to her. And I almost got in a fight with him at the front, sat right here. He rocked up at night after I was just pissed off. Like I'd been working, I think I went 3 days, hadn't slept. And then they were talking about taking all the shit overseas and all this crap. And I'm like, fuck off.
It was like 11 o'clock, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, no, he took about 9:30. He was sat in the driveway and I wouldn't answer the phone. Like Jackie has a phone. That's why I don't carry one. I don't want one. I never. If anyone wants me, someone I know's got one. Like all you lot have phones. I don't need one. What the fuck am I going to do with it? I can't even make this thing work now.
And guys, if it's all right, may I just readjust the camera real quick?
Oh, he's got a chat. This is why I hate phones. They're
Yeah,
fucking
just give me a
batteries.
moment.
I bet it's Chinese too. Nothing from China. Only COVID lasts longer than fucking 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's all shit. All I
Hey,
can see.
there
Oh, that's better, Jordan. Why do you do that to
It's
stay?
written
You're such a moron. See what I have to deal with? God, so I
Forgive me, guys.
dropped him on his head way too many times, I think.
I've licked too many windows.
I was shaking him all the time. Back in my day, shaking kids was what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I read it in a handbook somewhere. Something about don't shake, do shake. I got confused. I was drunk when I read it.
Oh, that's amazing. So you guys have a website. It's called Mars Trigger. So it's not your YouTube channel is Alpha Tactical.
Yeah, no, because I wanted to keep that. Jackie came up with mechanical assisted reset system or some shit. I wanted to call it fart.
Yeah.
She didn't want to do it. They don't let me go into meetings all that much. It's probably why he
Right.
never invited me to meet you guys or go shoot anywhere or do it or TriggerCon. He probably was frightened I don't really have a filter.
You know,
So-
you probably would scare off investors. I'm just saying. Like, if there were investors, you might scare them off.
Was these?
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing wrong with a bit of hard work, dirty hands and hard work.
Mhm. Yeah, the guy in the machine shop.
But
not
saying that,
the-
if
not
you're
the
an
face-
investor,
Yeah.
woo!
Shameless promotion, you know.
They get one of them fancy cameras.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So you guys have been running it on your website for how long? Because you guys decided essentially just, hey, we're gonna make it.
Not long, about a month or so, like
Yeah,
a bit, month and a bit, 5 weeks, something like that.
Okay.
So, and it's hard because we're a tiny ass little channel, and everyone keeps ringing saying, "I ordered one of them from you all this time ago." I said, "Mate, that's try to separate myself from it. You didn't order anything from me, buddy. You would have got it. I don't sell anything we don't have. So." But we're still fighting that. And then when you type in AK FRT, it always goes straight to Trigger Empire.
Yeah, they're always the first one to pop up.
Yeah, I keep yelling at him. I say, can't you do some computer magic shit to make that work?
Well,
But
so that's very intricate back end stuff for SEO optimization type stuff that Alex is probably very good at. And
better
so
than
that-
me.
Well, that kind of makes sense because you have the trifecta. You have the money, you have the face guy who can push and scam and lie to everybody, and then you have the actual engineer. So you kind of
Yeah.
have the trifecta for Trigger Empire. So, Clayco, you haven't had any contact with these guys after all this stuff started happening?
Yes. So if anyone was following the story, their Instagram, they deleted all their photos. And apparently that was when Julian decided that Alex was just a fraud and apparently owes Julian a lot of money. And I think Julian just didn't know that Alex had a year ago done all this pre-sale. Like when I launched my video, I had my DMs were just filled of people like, yo, I don't think you really know these guys. A year ago, they've been doing this. They've been taking money from people. I have receipts. They showed me all the emails month after month for a year of Alex at Trigger Empire saying, hey guys, we're sorry, we're not ready. Hey, next month, guys, thanks for being great customers. Stick with us. Eventually, everyone just started doing chargebacks, dozens of people. And I had no idea about any of this. No one, they wouldn't have won an award had anyone known about any of this, right? So
We didn't know that too. But then when Jordan put that first, because I was so cross when I did that first video and he made all that, Jordan did that. I was like, nah, I'm sick of this. I want people to know I've been fucked over. Because all these people were putting messages saying, you owe us money. And I'm like, you didn't buy shit from me. I didn't know anything about that.
Right.
What the fuck? So
I don't think Julian knew about any of that. So I think once all that started to come to light, Julian kind of saw the writing on the wall and separates himself from Alex. And Julian logs into their Instagram and deletes. If you go to their Instagram now, there's nothing there. It's been whitewashed. There's nothing left.
yeah, Julian rang me that day. He was doing that.
Right.
I
Everything
was-
was
I was-
gone. Once that happened, I had Julian sending me novels of just, don't trust Alex. Like, look at all, like he was sending me all these screenshots. And here's the thing. These guys don't know me well. I don't know them well. Julian was sending me all these personal messages between he and Alex, which I thought was weird. It just, I wasn't that involved with it. Shortly after that, I've got the text messages basically telling me that you guys have like stolen the design. They're lying about Alex. And Alex would say, I don't have a platform. I can't defend myself. Clay, I need you to go to bat for me, man. Make another
Damn.
video. Like, these guys are liars. They're stealing from me, and I'm going to get screwed over this deal. I basically sent him a text saying, Alex, thank you for the hospitality. I would respectfully like to never speak to you again. And that was that. And he said, that's fine, but you can't, please. And the reason he started calling me and texting me, I found their video that Julian had sent. And I'm like, holy piss, it goes even deeper. So I left a comment on you, and this shows you how much he was watching. I left a comment on your video saying, I had no idea. Like, is it cool if I share this? Alex called me like 2 minutes after I commented on your YouTube video. He was watching it every second of the day. And I'm like,
our
damn,
video
dude.
or yours?
Yeah.
Whose video?
Yeah.
Your video.
Oh.
The second I commented on it, because I had no idea that you guys weren't paid. I didn't know you guys were making the parts. I didn't know any of that. So once I found the video and I commented, guys, this is crazy. I would love to share this story. Alex called me right away after commenting on your channel on a random YouTube video. He knew that I did that almost instantly and was begging me, please don't share their stuff. They're lying. They're stealing my design. I'm getting screwed here, Clay. I don't have a platform. I'm locked out of my Trigger Empire Instagram, so on and so forth. That's when I sent the, hey, man, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Short of that, Julian tried a lot to keep in contact with me, and I just told him the same thing. I'm like, man, you've been cool. You've been nice. I don't know how involved any of you guys are that I met. I'd rather just not talk to any of you anymore. Have a nice life. Thank you for your service and all that, because that's what really made me buy into it. You have this highly decorated colonel, backing this thing. So you would think a guy that got to that status should have a pretty good nose for bullshit, I would hope.
Mm-hmm.
And to get involved with this kid, you would think it's got to be legitimate, but somehow it slipped through the cracks, and Julian didn't even know who he was getting involved with until it was a little too late. So from what I understand now, I do believe Julian will be going after him legally for fraud, as well as other people, not just Julian, people that he owes money to. And here's what's crazy. I know you guys mentioned it earlier in the stream. Not even a week ago, I go to a local gun show in my hometown in Montgomery, and I'm walking around with my wife, and I'm like, man, that booth looks familiar. I walk around to Trigger Empire booth. I'm like, babe, what the fuck is going on? Two dudes I don't even recognize. I'm like, who are these two dudes? There was like these two dudes sitting there with chest rigs on with a Trigger Empire table. Yeah.
That was and there's no points in them.
I told my wife, I was like, how is this possible? And this was like 2 days after Julian said, hey, Trigger Empire is not even a company anymore. Like, the company's name doesn't exist. Yet here they are, still with the name, still taking money from people at local gun shows all over Texas. How he's paying these people, I would love to spend 5 minutes with just one of those dudes sitting at the table going, how are you involved? Do you know Alex? Is Alex paying you? Like, how are you sitting at a gun show, apparently numerous gun shows, taking pre-orders for this?
Yeah, because they're all his mates.
Yeah.
Did you see the back end financials at all? Because you talked about seeing emails and receipts. Did you happen to see how many triggers they had sold, quote unquote?
No, the only receipts I had as far as emails were from guys that purchased some of these pre-sales that were getting all of the emails from Trigger Empire. Although we're sorry, they're not ready yet. We're sorry. A year of that. I don't know how many were sold or how many people still are owed money. To my knowledge, most of these people did chargebacks.
Okay.
Eventually.
And well, let's talk about Alex for a second. So Alex sets up the website. The website accepts money. Does that money go to Alex? Is that how he's paying to do all of these different things?
I would assume so. There's actually a gentleman in the comments, Kalash Kamaz, that could probably answer that a bit.
I did. I just sent him a link to join.
Yeah, so he is still in constant communication with Julian today. He might be privy to that as far as where the money was going this whole time.
Okay. Yeah, he might hop on here in just a minute.
Right.
Oh, actually, right now. Let me see if he's ready. Hello, John. How's your evening going?
Good. How y'all doing?
Doing good.
What's up, Clay? How you doing, buddy?
Oh, it's always a good day to see you, my man.
Oh, I know, man. How you doing?
All right, so let's talk about it. What's your opinion on Trigger Empire and all the goings on there?
Well, it was a shit show, and then it kind of cleaned itself up a bit, and they're trying the best they can. But yeah, I just got home from work, and I was just hearing everything Clay was saying, and I mean, yeah, that's all true. It's 100% true. So, yeah, it was a shit show completely. And I mean, yeah, you guys over at Alpha, I mean, I've been in there where you know I've heard some of the shit on the conference calls, and I'm like, my God, Alex, Jesus Christ. Yeah, he was straight scamming. That's,
So
Yeah,
let
but
me
I
ask you.
wasn't smart enough to see it. That's my problem. I was too gullible. Like
Yeah.
I was desperate, mate. Like I was so desperate to feed my kids. I would have
Yeah.
done any. I worked for the
You have
fucking
to
devil
admit,
himself.
Yeah, we were just
Alex,
trying
for his age,
He's a good
is
salesman.
very sharp. Like he could
I mean, he's
sell,
very
he could sell
sharp.
ice to an Eskimo. He's very sharp, very good
Yeah.
salesman.
Hustlers,
So-
hustlers know how to do their thing. I mean, that's
So,
true.
Kamaz, when you say they're trying to fix it, who do you mean there? You mean Julian and Jesus, or who's left at the company? Because is Alex kicked out? What's the story there?
Yeah, Alex is gone completely. So the company would be Julian, Jesus, and there's another investor named AJ.
Okay.
Yeah, I met them on the weekend. I met AJ and Julian. I was at Fort Worth this weekend,
Yeah,
and
good guy.
yeah, they were at the show, and we were like a couple stands up from them. And they, like, when I first got there, they packed all their stuff and went, and he was on the phone straight away. And I thought, oh, he's ringing Alex to say, hey, these guys are here with the actual product in boxes and can show you the product. And yeah, they shut their pants and all that sort of stuff. And then about a couple hours later, was it? Oh, you went there Saturday. Julian turns up with AJ. AJ's does a lot of things with marijuana stuff. He's
Well,
on some board.
Marijuana, Texas.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is, mate. I don't smoke. Yeah, I don't know what he does, something like that. But he seemed a nice bloke. Like, but you know, they all seem nice to me. But then I wouldn't. They tried to buy all my product. The other one, the trigger, they kept coming saying, "Oh, what have you got? We'll buy whatever you got right now." And I wouldn't sell it to them. It's like, nah, fuck you.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. I have no idea who those guys at the gun show were either. No clue. So I don't know what they're doing with this, you know, whatever this trigger empire is, you know, this new thing they're trying to do. But
Well,
I mean, Texas triggers.
they're one of the kids, when I wouldn't sell him, was walking away from me and goes, "You, fucking asshole." I'm like, "Oh, hang on there, mate. You're definitely not going to get shit now." I was warming to it.
To further answer what Focus Trip was asking, I mean, how they're trying to fix it. Well, they did get they did get a you know, a manufacturer of their own and everything, and so it is being like, you know, it's all CNC cut and everything, so it's all good. But I mean, they're trying their best to actually fix it and get past the whole Alex thing. You know, they're trying.
Right. Are they paying their new machinist as well?
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, I mean that. Alex isn't involved, so.
Well, so from your perspective, do you know where the money went?
The stuff Alex took?
Did he take it? That's what I'm asking.
As far as I know, DoorDash and maybe the lawyer that was sending out some cease and desists.
John, did you say there was an apartment he was trying to move into? It was.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was trying to spend the money left and right. From what I know, is he was trying to get this $10,000 a month apartment. Apparently, that's. I mean, I can always say that and in for second hand in for. But,
so that's where all the deposit money went. Was straight to
the
yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, also keep in mind, cash. He's driving his mom's BMW around, and
that was his mom's BMW.
Yeah, because there was a rumors that he was living with Julian, and that wasn't true at all. He lives with his mom.
Hey, one thing that's for sure, I can promise you, Alex is watching this live stream right now. I can guarantee you that.
Alex, message me on Instagram.
Trigger Empire hat down.
I will bring you on right now, Alex, if you're watching this.
I guarantee
Defend your honor. Defend your honor, sir.
Clear up the speculation. Clear up the speculation.
Paying DoorDash, motherfucker, and you'll watch. You knew I'm going getting food from a church.
I was about to say that. So while he's spending his money on apartment and DoorDash, you're having trouble feeding your own kids, and that's
trouble, mate. Absolute fucking nothing.
So it's like it's funny to think about like, oh, he's screwing you out, but it's like it's really sad, right? And it's actually having a really negative effect on you and your family, right?
We still haven't recovered. Like we're still struggling to get this shit out there because obviously we're not as techie, you know. And I don't know, you know. I'm probably not the best spoken.
I don't know. I mean, I'm a little late to the party here, but I did hear the number he owes you, and I was like, oh, Christ, man. And
I would have been happy with a couple $100 a week. At least that way I could go to fucking Walmart and buy some meat or some shit.
right?
Just anything would have been. And he was telling Jordan to quit his job with a friend, or like a friend gives Jordan a job.
Yeah, just so we got some extra
So we got some extra money. And telling him to quit that and focus solely on that. And I'm like, what the fuck? God's sake, we can't even keep the lights on. They shut the electricity off to my workshop. Shut it off. We had no power. I couldn't run the fucking CNC. I couldn't do shit. I had to borrow money from a friend to just keep on, just to turn the power on to that. I didn't even care about the workshop at that time. Thought, fuck the workshop. I got to keep power and water in the house, like that where my kids sleep and that. I didn't give a fuck about doing any of that. And then I was like, and my wife's going, well, just sell them. Just sell them. And I said, and me being me, I said, I'm not selling for $500.
Yeah, no.
Whatever they sell them at, I'm going to halve it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the new thing that's not with Alex and anymore, all that crap. It's called Texas Triggers. So yeah,
okay.
I mean, yeah, they were totally cool with that. They wanted you to recoup your money. So I mean, it's like,
well, they're taking him to court. Like he was asking me to fill out affidavits and all that shit this weekend, and I'm like, I don't want to get involved in it. I just want to be left the fuck alone to make my money, and I'll do that.
I saw the filings, and I was like, oh my god, man! It was like a stack of freaking things they're charging him with. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want to get involved in any of that shit.
Yeah.
I have enough trouble staying out of trouble in this country.
Boondock says that Alex isn't even going to have a cardboard box when this is all done. So it sounds like he had his few minutes in a nice apartment, but
did he actually get an apartment? You're being honest. He had a $10,000 apartment.
No. He was trying to get one. He was
fuck me. They wouldn't want to come to me for a reference, would they?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Remember, we're not talking about
$10,000 to buy it or to rent it.
Not a month. 10,000 a month.
A month.
Yeah, that's what you were saying, right?
Yeah. In Austin, is there such a thing as a $10,000 a month fucking apartment in Austin? It's Texas, right? Fucking hell.
I actually heard he was looking at New York, but that I may have misheard.
No, he was always in New York.
That's
studying about. That's where he's from.
So it's really just a money thing. He doesn't care about guns. He doesn't care about the machinist. He doesn't care about anybody else. This is just pure money. As much money as he can get out of people.
To that point about doesn't care about guns, John, I told you this story when I was at their house having the first meeting.
Yeah.
And Julian was also very honest. He's like, I don't know shit about AKs, but I trust this kid. So let's do this thing. So while we're sitting there, Alex goes, have you ever heard of this stuff called Zenitco? And I was like, yeah, why? He's like, hold on 1 second. He goes into the back and he pulls out a full brand new set, like Sport 4, PT1, the B30, like a whole like $2,000 set. I was like, damn, like brand new in the bag, right? I'm like, where did you get this? He's like, is this stuff valuable? I'm like, yeah, dude. He's like, oh man. He pulls out like 7 sets of this stuff in all the rare colors. For those of you that don't know in the comments what Zenitco is, it's basically like Knight's armament for AKs, extremely rare and collectible Russian stuff. Doesn't come in anymore, sells for stupid money. Probably had 2 or 3 times over in Zenitco what he owes you guys in cash, right? And it's all on the table. And I'm like, I'm thinking this guy doesn't know about AKs, doesn't care about them. And he's got a dozen sets of Holy Grail AK chassis on the table. How do you have this?
You were saying they had that stuff at the gun show too, huh?
They didn't have Zenitco at the gun show. They were just trying to get more money for triggers that don't exist.
And before they went to you guys, he was begging me, and Jackie was just begging him, saying, look, we need some money, mate. We're desperate for money. Like, we had no power. We're literally begging. And he goes, oh, well, if you give me a few more, I might be able to just sell them to this guy. He's telling me some
Yeah,
bullshit.
I'll talk to my investors. They'll
Yeah,
give you money.
he goes,
yeah.
oh, if you do me another 10, I can take him to Dallas and get you $5,000. All this. I'm like, so didn't I? And I was so
Yeah.
fucking stupid. I made 10 more and I gave them to him like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he had some crazy. He had some
well,
interesting connections. The Zenico thing was weird, and then he
Oh,
says, "Have you ever heard of an AK-74?" I'm like, you know what? I sure have. And he says, "Well, there's this round called 5.45." I'm like, uh huh. He goes to a room. He pulls out a spam can of 7.6, which is, military grade 5.45. Hasn't come in a while. He says, "What's this stuff worth?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. It's pretty expensive." He
God.
says, "Well." He opens up a door and he's got 7.6 and spam cans stacked up to his tits in the spare room. And I'm like, okay, none of this makes sense. Guy doesn't know anything about AKs, clearly has a huge abundance of 5.45 and apparently
that's a
knows
brilliant
people with a
household.
warehouse of it.
Oh yeah. And being that he's got some troubles coming up, I mean, I don't want to be a snitch, but let's just say that the Zenico he got came from the same place Bar War comes from.
Okay.
That's an AK reference I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about.
Should I just say it? Yeah, he's smuggling it from Turkey.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, wow. That's a roundabout way to get it. And we have Lawrence DeMonico of Rare Breed Triggers. How is your evening going, sir?
It's been quite entertaining watching you guys.
So, Lawrence, do you and Mars Triggers know each other?
Nope.
No, we don't. We don't. I've never met the guys.
I actually my wife sent you guys a email when he was fucking me around, trying to say, hey, do you want the design? Because we were so desperate. Honestly, we had no power. We had no food. I got an 8-year-old little boy who was, and I need to feed him. And I'm like, I've invested everything I got to make this thing work. And this fucktard is just toss. I know, how do I speak American and not upset people?
Well,
And
I definitely understand fucktard. That'll work.
Yeah. And he kept saying, oh, make me a few more, make me a few more, make me a few more, make me. And I'm like, I can't. I didn't have metal. I had no materials. I kept breaking 1/4-inch end mill bits. And I'm saying, I can't even afford bits. And then they shut the power off to the workshop. So that was that. I was like, well, fuck, I can't make anything. What am I going to do? Get a hamster and a wheel?
I'll tell you what, I will make a commitment to come see you
along, and he bled you dry along the way.
Sometime very, very soon. You're not too far from me. I actually also happen to be in Austin.
I'm up in Paris, Texas, up near, I'm way up north sort of thing, northeast.
So I actually have a fair bit of experience with Alex. When he was selling infringing triggers, I sent him a cease and desist. He ignored me. I went to his house, knocked on the door, spoke to his father. They were petrified. They wouldn't open the door, but his father spoke to me through a closed window for about an hour and a half.
What?
He ended up leaving Austin. He ran to New York. He does have family in New York, and he spends quite a bit of his time in New York. We ended up, and I'm not going to go into the details here, but we ended up subpoenaing all of his bank records. So I have quite a bit of information on how much money he was making. And somebody hit the nail on the head when they talked about DoorDash. He's very, very partial to DoorDash.
Yeah.
And not just, he spends more money on DoorDash than any person I could even dream of. But with that said, he ended up calling me. No shit, called me on my personal cell phone one night and told me who he was. And I couldn't believe that he was calling me. And then he thanked me for making him rich. And I was like, what are you talking about, man? Like, you've basically stolen from me, selling infringing triggers on your website. And, I've given you the opportunity to get right. And he's like, yeah, well, thanks for making me rich, man. I'll talk to you some other time. Click. So I think he has, I think he specializes in conning people, taking
Yeah.
advantage of people, lying to people. That is my belief. I think eventually it will catch up to him. I can definitely tell you, I'm not done with him. He's definitely going to pay the man. That's for sure. So
Well, that's the thing.
I would absolutely love to meet this individual, the Colonel. I think that he might have, especially if they've now, Alex has, ripped them off too. I'd love to hear what they have to say.
Well, they wanted me to write a whole thing about, because he came up on Sunday and he said, look, I just want you to get your money back. And I'm like, I just think, and I don't trust. I'm like, yeah, okay, but then you're gonna what? Like fucking something try to fuck me over again, or you know what I mean? And Julian's lovely, but once bitten, twice shy on that sort of thing. And I'm like, and it was all right for them to take the piss and carry on, but again, we were the ones fucking doing all that for nothing. And yeah, I don't know. It was just
That
one of
explains
those things.
whose triggers, what he was selling. Because the story I got was he had a website where he was already selling forced reset triggers, but I don't remember whose. That must have been it. Not sure if he was selling someone else making triggers that were just ripping off Rare Breed or whatever, but I know he had a website prior selling forced reset triggers before he ever had the idea to make forced reset AK triggers, and that explains that.
So
Yeah, I was
Because
gonna
when I first met him,
he had
he was
always
selling
sold triggers on Trigger Empire. Trigger Empire was, I believe, his actual first official website. Now, what he was selling was the Alamo 15.
Okay.
The Alamo 15 was designed by Thomas Graves, but manufactured in Oklahoma for Big Daddy Unlimited. Now, most of you guys probably know about my litigation with Big Daddy. We ended up coming out of that successfully. And most people don't know this, and I'm really quite surprised, but my litigation against Thomas Graves, we won that lawsuit against him probably 2.5 years ago. And then he just went ghost. And we won a $4 million settlement or judgment against him. And then when he went ghost, I want to say, and I can't go into the confidential details, but I want to say it was about 2 weeks ago, the court entered a consent judgment and permanent injunction in our favor. Thomas Graves admitted that he had infringed, and that, the permanent injunction means he can never do it again. But we obtained his entire portfolio of patents in the judgment. So all the patents that, Thomas had said that, we had infringed, obviously the court agreed that we didn't, but we ended up with all of his patents anyway.
So do you want to know, this is a cool thing that you're here. Do you know how he got me to work for him in the first place? When I first met him in Abilene, he knew about my legal problems with the ATF and how they shut me down and took all that stuff. And he said he'd won the court case, and he showed me the thing on his laptop, and and I'm like, he goes, oh, and I went, because it was on the news, and I said, oh, so you're working with the FRT guys? He goes, oh yeah, we won that and did all that. And he kept saying, oh, I'll hook you up with these guys and they can help you out. And like,
oh no,
and I was like,
my issue with Alex is still in infancy stages. Nobody's won anything in an issue with me and Alex.
Well, so
no, he was taking credit for winning the, how the FRT thing become legal and all that. He was taking credit with oh yeah, we did that, and he promised me he was going to put me in contact with the lawyers for you. And I said, well, I don't have any money. They're not. And he goes, oh, you can ring them. Some people in Colorado. So I messaged them and rang them, but they weren't. I guess because I'm foreign.
Yeah,
and
Alex had absolutely zero involvement with the litigation to legalize FRTs. Zero.
He used to be at gun shows with a laptop. That's how he got me even. Because until I met Alex, I could give a shit about triggers. I didn't want to make any of it. And he showed me all this stuff on a laptop, and I'm like, ugh, I don't really do a lot of reading with that sort of stuff. I could give a shit. And then he was saying, oh, I heard you're in trouble, because we put it on YouTube that when we got raided and all this sort of bullshit. And I met the governor a couple of times, and he promised he was going to do this and that, and nothing really
Yeah,
sort of
we're
happened.
really open about what's been going on.
Yeah. And he goes, "Oh, I know I know the guys at FRT and all this shit." And I said, "Well, I'll force you guys." And I said, "Well, fucking put me in contact with them. They're the guys I need to help me, you know." And I was just a gullible sucker because I need to,
Well,
you know, I
this
need
Alex
help.
guy, this Alex guy continues to get more and more interesting. So, Lawrence, how did you meet Alex? How did he get into this?
All right, so Alex is, I've heard somebody else say that Alex is, pretty smart. Well, Trigger Empire was extremely well hidden. It was, if you check the who is, it was all private. Like everything about it, they were buying triggers from, an unnamed place and having them drop shipped from another unnamed place, like nothing tied back to Alex. So it took actually another litigation with where we were able to get discovery. And in that discovery, we were able to figure out who Alex was. So that's when rather than, we actually did send a letter to his registered agent, basically with a cease and desist. And then I tracked him down and I showed up at his house. Actually, I showed up at an apartment that he had rented with another dude who essentially was just a stoner. And they were selling, I want to say, like, I'm going to probably screw this up, but it was like Delta something that is similar to weed.
Oh, Delta 9?
Something
Delta.
like that.
How do you know that?
It's dab.
So what had happened is that he took this Delta whatever company and started selling triggers through this other company. So he was using a bank account for, some kind of like, weed, synthetic weed or whatever company to start selling the triggers. Ended up tracking him down at this apartment. And then, this guy at this apartment pointed me toward, his father's house. It was definitely took a lot of, super sleuthing to catch up to him. And then when I did catch up to him, he disappeared. And somebody had mentioned his BMW. His BMW was actually in the driveway when I showed up to his father's house that day. And I wasn't looking for trouble. I wasn't like trying to hurt anybody. I really just wanted to have a conversation. I think I was even wearing like a suit that day, but his father was too afraid to open the door. I don't know what Alex must have told him, but it was very odd. It was definitely very odd. And I ended up leaving, and he left Texas and took off to New York, and he stayed in New York for quite a long time. And now this is I'm just pulling this out of my rear end, but I think he stayed in New York until he ran out of money. But he was printing money because, of course, he is selling. At this point, I want to say he was still selling the Alamo 15, but he had come out with the Kono, and then, as you guys have mentioned, was selling them for, $500, $600, but literally not manufacturing or shipping a single one.
Nothing.
Now,
But
and I have
that's
also
why-
heard, because many people have reached out to me, hey, what can you do to help me? And I'm like, man, I can't do anything about what this guy has done to rip you off. But I have suggested to anybody that has reached out to me, do a chargeback. So I can't imagine that's gone well for him. But to be honest, the company that, is his merchant account, they can't take what's not in the account. So, that's probably why now he is, selling triggers at gun shows, or he's gotten a new merchant account to connect to his website, something to that effect, but he's just working for cash now. That's my best guess.
Well, I haven't seen him. We're at Fort Worth, and when I saw his mates come up, I went, all right. I was hoping he was going to be there because I would have. Well, probably not. I would have lost my temper a bit because short-tempered sometimes. But when Jordan put a video out, when they first come in, we were first messing around with some of the first triggers I cut. Jordan made a mistake and put a picture of him with his face like in the glasses.
Yeah, where it's
He rang and Jordan put that up on YouTube, and he rang Jordan within like
I was ripping.
and I mean, you're supposed to be the face of this company. Why are you so?
Yeah, he really wanted his face blurred. He kept
Oh,
calling me.
yeah.
He asked when I was making that video. He kept asking me, "Hey, can you send me, little clips?" Because I was talking to him through Snapchat, so I could send him a video of what I was doing. I was like, "Hey, is this good enough? Is this good enough?" And he was so adamant. "Oh no, you haven't blurred my face good enough." The whole time.
I was trying, and I should have twigged then. I should have went, hang on.
Yeah, that's a bit suspect.
What's going on? What? It was more than happy for me and Jesus to sit there and talk about his shit. And
so he didn't want his face. He didn't want his face shown. He didn't want to be tied.
never.
No, and when I told Dad what was going on there,
I said, "Fuck it."
Yeah, we said, "Fuck it." So that's why you see the one clip where he turns and goes Trigger Empire. I just went, "Yeah, fuck it," and didn't blur his face.
Well, to be honest, and I'm going to try to find the most PC way to say this, but I don't care if you blur his face or not. There aren't too many people in the industry that with a big old head of hair like that.
Yeah,
like you can blur it all you want. Everybody that is going to suspect it would be him, especially people that are already in the know of him for sure.
Yeah, he looks like Easy
I've never heard of him till Abilene. Never heard of him. Never met him. And I was going to gun shows a lot, but yeah, I'd never seen him.
So yeah, it's a young Easy.
He turned up at my house wearing that suit on that.
Yeah, that's the exact suit.
He turned up in that suit with that dude. I don't even know who that dude is on his.
One of his friends or something.
Yeah, and then some other guy from somewhere overseas. And I'd been up for like, as I said, we left. We come home from Nacogdoches, which is like 3.5 hours from here. Gun show just to make some more triggers for him, which I'd already give him like 18 or something.
Well, they were here that time until about 1 o'clock in the morning.
1 or 2 in the morning.
There, yeah.
And he kept, trying to rush me and do it. I'm like, mate, I can't make that CNC work any faster than it does. And then, mind you, I hadn't had no money. So I'm using broken bits and stupid shit. And I was getting really pissed one night.
Yeah.
I was losing my shit because I've got these kids poking around my workshop that don't know shit from clay. And I'm like, I've never met them. And they're going, oh, and they're wearing Trigger Empire shirts. I'm like, I fucking don't even have one of them.
Yeah.
I don't mind a free T-shirt. And
I think, and I could be mistaken here, but maybe one of you guys will have some information. But I'm fairly certain he was not born in the United States. I want to say
he keeps talking about wanting to go back to move and live in Africa.
Yeah, but I think
he told me he was from Africa.
I want to say Ghana. I'm almost positive it's not South Africa, but there for a minute I was even told that he had diplomatic status. Well, I was able, most people don't know much about my background, but through my background, I was able to confirm he does not have diplomatic status. But I still am not 100% sure, where he came from. Now, I can also tell you when he started, making a lot of money selling triggers that he wasn't shipping to people, he, was spending a lot of money on nice clothes, going on expensive vacations. Like he even went to Paris for a bit.
Hey, not Paris here. Damn. Overseas Paris.
Not Paris,
no, not Paris, Texas.
I don't even want to hear this because I'm just thinking all the bullshit. It's just bullshit. It's just, he stood right there. We're sat out the front because I got my little boy. He just had a baby 7 weeks ago.
Yep.
So little fella's asleep. And and we stood right there at the front of my house, shook my hand and said, no, I'll look after you. You make these for me. All this bullshit. And yeah, because we didn't know who he was. Wish I'd have known. I don't even know how to use a computer all that much. I don't.
He leaves that to me.
Yeah, I don't do phones, don't do any of that crap. But I'll tell you what, Lawrence, anytime you want to come to my workshop, mate, I won't run for him. You can come up, we'll have a beer, and I'll show you how I do it.
I'll make a commitment to come see you because I'd really like to kind of talk to you anyway.
That'd be awesome, man.
And I'll tell you what, even though I've got absolutely nothing to do with it, I feel horrible that you're in this position because I hate to hear scumbags that take advantage of people like this. This is horrible.
Well, like we were to the point. Like my wife now makes, and she's really good at it. She makes candles out of cigar boxes. So we were selling them at gun shows, and I make a really cool 1022 chassis, and I make my own grips, and I make my own. Just everything I sell, I try make. I don't like to sell anything I don't make, which he knew about that. I said, if I don't make it here, I don't want to sell it. And he was always trying to like pay me with triggers and shit like that. And I said, how the fuck does that feed my kids?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Go to Walmart and go, hey, can I have some meat for fucking whatever this is? It was just insane. He doesn't live in this world.
No.
He lives in a make-believe where he doesn't have to pay bills, I guess. Doesn't have kids to feed.
Well, he definitely, I think he pays a lot of bills, but that's how he lives. Just spending all the cash that comes in to just live, but he's living way above, his means.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there are no ideas of his current whereabouts.
Me?
Alex's current whereabouts.
No, he tried. I haven't spoke to him. I was out trying because I'm fat, so my wife was making me exercise, and we were out walking, and Julian was ringing us, and I didn't want to talk to any of them, like just none. I was so sick of everything they were like, and I didn't know Julian then like I do now, but I just thought everything they say is bullshit. There's an old saying I used to say to him when he was a kid. I say, you know how I know you're lying? Your lips are moving.
Yeah.
And I said that to Alex. I said, I'm fucking over it. I've offered you payment plans. My wife's fucking done all this shit. And then, like, Julian came to the house, and Jackie's like, look, this is all we want to make them. And she did a whole contract. Julian was happy with it. Said, we said, you pay 30% up front, then 20 and 20 or some shit. Well, I don't know. They figured all that out. I don't really do money. I just make stuff. And Julian was happy and it was all good. And then, just nothing. And then he would ring up and he came here once saying I was trying to rip him off, like at fucking 9 o'clock at night with some people in a car. You'd rock up at my house at 9 o'clock. I live in the country.
Yeah.
With two people I don't know in your car and I'm not in a good mood. You're risking some shit there, mate. I can promise you. We're in Texas.
So, John and Lawrence, do you guys have active litigation against this Alex feller?
No, we've actually been kind of preparing it. Like, it's very interesting. I have been, and when I say like my team, we have been really busy, still fighting in the Fifth Circuit and the Second Circuit. We had oral arguments last week in the Fifth Circuit over the big FRT win in the Northern District of Texas. Obviously the government is trying to have that overturned. The oral arguments went exceptionally well. There was even one of the judges that said, I got it wrong when it was the Cargill in the Fifth Circuit. I got it wrong. The Supreme Court set me straight. I'm not going to get it wrong again. So I feel very confident that the Fifth Circuit is going to support, a good decision in the Fifth Circuit. And then obviously anybody that's kind of been following our saga, we're still dealing with the manufactured bullshit claim of mail fraud and wire fraud in New York. So because the government did not want to, basically charge me with a crime because they knew that they would lose, they brought me up on mail fraud and wire fraud charges in New York. And keep in mind, we never sold one single trigger in New York, but they were able to get creative in order to pull us into New York. And mail fraud and wire fraud are criminal charges, but they didn't even sue us criminally. They sued me civilly because the burden of proof is so much lower.
Right.
And basically arguing, and I'm giving you the extreme Reader's Digest version, but every product we shipped was mail fraud and every payment we took was wire fraud because they argue that the product is a machine gun. But of course, they don't want to argue on the merits of whether or not it's a machine gun. They just want, the court to take the word of the ATF. Now, our oral arguments in the Second Circuit did not go as well. We kind of got beat up in the Second Circuit, but I've promised everybody since day one that we're going to see this thing through to the end, and I promise that we will. But that's where we're at now. Regardless of what happens, kind of to me in the Second Circuit, I think that FRTs in the big picture are in a very good position and will ultimately prevail.
Awesome.
Cool.
That's good to hear.
I need you to help me with my ATF little issue. 'Cause that'd be
Well,
nice.
you probably know some good lawyers for all of this.
I can't
do.
afford them.
I absolutely do, and I would be more than happy to talk about, talk, shop with you when I come visit you.
That'd be awesome,
we'd
mate.
appreciate
Like,
that, mate.
we've been trying to get someone to help us. That's how we got in all this bullshit. Was just trying to get, like, as I said, I met the governor a couple of times, and we went for a dinner thing with Brian Hughes. He said he was going to help, but that was a year. We sent all the information, all that stuff, and they just not bothered, I guess.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't hold my breath on this by any means, but inauguration is just a blink of an eye away, and there's a very good chance that the new administration won't feel the same way that the current one does about your situation. And then to keep in mind that Governor Abbott and the AG Ken Paxton, they've got a good relationship with Trump and the administration. Ken Paxton, him and I want to say 26 other states attorneys general supported us with an amicus brief to the Fifth Circuit when we went in front of them last week. So it's definitely good to have that many states attorneys general behind you. But once again, I think they've got a really good relationship with the incoming administration. So while I wouldn't, like I said, hold my breath, there's a very good chance in the next 60 days that they might feel differently about your situation.
I hope so. Like, actually, because we understand, like, trying to understand the American politics and stuff like that, but like they took our passports and all that sort of stuff, and they told me if I went to the Australian embassy, they'd arrest me. So they said, you're not allowed to go to the embassy, you're not allowed to do this, and I'm like, we didn't know. Like, we couldn't afford anything. They left us with $40, $40, no phones, no computers, no. They took everything.
Yeah,
everything we had.
Call us.
Yeah, they said call me on Thursday. I said, how the fuck can I do that?
Yeah, you took our phones.
Oh, they were going to arrest me for not owning a phone. I know that much. They kept thinking I was hiding it. My wife's going, he doesn't have one. He doesn't have one.
Yeah.
He doesn't have one. I said, you're going to have to use a lot more lube if you want to find that one.
So I've got a really interesting question for you. For the longest time, the Kono, as pictured on Trigger Empire's website, it looks like a drop-in.
Yeah, it's not. No.
Well, I know it's not, but do you know if he ever had the intention of it being a drop-in in the early days?
I don't know, because when he brought me, it didn't really work. So it was just.
Yeah, his original design barely even functioned.
Yeah, it was. We'd break it and it wouldn't
was it a drop-in?
No, not at all.
No, it wasn't.
It was just some 3D printed bits and bobs and some shit. So, and like some bent up bits of metal, flat bar and all that sort of shit. And I'm like, man, that's just, you can't do that. So, and then because I until I met Alex, I'd never been interested in making triggers or doing that. That's the first trigger I've ever made. So, and it's not a trigger; it's just four parts, and
Well, it ships in like a little baggie, right? And it's just a collection of loose parts, essentially.
Yeah, no, hey, come on. We can put it in a black box.
Yeah, we give you something.
Yeah, it's like a guy did a video on it for 12 minutes complaining about the box. I said, fuck me, my wife had to get something to put them in.
Yeah,
and
that video.
He said you can just put it in.
And the funny thing is, I met him at Fort Worth this weekend. He had a stall, like a couple stalls there. He was a lovely guy. And I said, you're bad. You didn't care about the product. You just give a shit about the box. I'm like, fuck. And if I had sent it in a little bag, he would have lost his shit over that too, no doubt. I'm like, you can't win. Nope. You can't win.
So Alex is also selling super safeties, but was he not having you manufacture those for him?
No, I don't make that shit. So I got a mate that makes them in Texas, but yeah, he tried to sell me or tried to pay me with them. But as I said, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't sell it. You know what I mean? Like, how am I gonna? I can't.
Well, if it's
run to the shop with, I need money, like money, you know. So it was always a shit show, and I should have known it was a shit show, but I was just mainly desperate for like getting legal help and all that sort of stuff. And that's where I wouldn't, when he was obviously going with old mate to shoot them triggers, he needed triggers, and I wouldn't give him any more. I said, right, you got to pay $5,000 for this lawyer. I need to pay this lawyer, otherwise I'm up shit creek. And the deadline was a Friday night, and he goes, and it was like Thursday. And he promised he was going to pay it Thursday and Wednesday and all this bullshit. And I'm like, mate. And he kept saying, have you got them triggers done for me? I said, fuck no. How? No.
Because we were fucked if we didn't pay that. We needed to pay that.
Yeah, I had to pay it.
And that was lawyers for the ATF case.
Correct? No, that was a lawyer for something to do with the house and all that sort of bullshit. Because, it's just something he knew we were desperate for, again, and just taking advantage of it. And then, so I stupidly gave him another fucking 10 triggers, which he said he was taking to Dallas to sell. And he clearly wasn't. He was taking them so you guys could fuck around with them. But he said, oh no, this guy's going to buy, this investor just wants 10 or some bullshit. And I don't know, fucking, I stopped listening at that point.
Yeah.
Because I was so desperate for the money to pay just like this lawyer. And then they shut the power off a fucking week later anyway, so it made no difference. So that's the situation we were in. We were in proper, like, man, I would have fucking dug graves for the devil himself if he had to pay me $1. You know what I mean?
Well, please do me a favor and
mate.
Send me. I can't imagine you want to blast out your email address on here with everybody watching, but send me your email address to my Instagram. And
okay, I don't know how to do that.
I can sort that out. No worries.
Okay, get me your email address, and I'm going to reach out and we'll talk.
Man, that would be awesome. Like, because we actually when I realized he wasn't going to pay me, I got Jackie to email your company and said, look, see if they're interested in any of this stuff. Like, at least it'd be something, you know. Like, we had no power. We couldn't. So I don't even own the car I drive. A friend of mine bought that and lent us a truck to drive around in. You know, I've been living on the back of people's generosity just to try survive, you know. So, and to get fucked over, it's just, I'm done. You know, I was so done with it. That's why we did that video. And I said, no. Yep.
Well, we've got to be really careful what kind of emails that we open from people. You know, being from Australia, you might not really be aware, but it's not uncommon for somebody to send you a design. And then let's just say you already have a design like that in the works or something similar and you come out with it. Well, then they claim that you ripped off their design. So
no, I didn't send design.
And when you've got patents, like, so throughout all of this litigation, we have continued to design, we've continued to develop, we've continued prototyping, we've continued patenting. So I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how many patents we have. I can't imagine there's anything in the forced reset, world that we don't have patented. We've already got MP5 models. Like, I mean, just name it. We've probably already got it already. And I don't mean like prototypes. I mean like full-blown production-ready models. So when we are able to go back to business, it's go time. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, but we've got to be very careful. Like, we even had, and I kid you not, somebody sent a picture that they had sketched on, it was either like a piece of toilet paper or a napkin from like a restaurant, and they had taken a picture of it and sent it to a company that I do business with, but not even to me. And then when I came out with a product, it was, 2 years later, they said that I stole the idea, but they had sent this picture, not even to me at my company, a completely separate company. So it is, anytime somebody comes to me with an idea, I'm like, stop. Like, we there's a way to approach this, but don't just put something in front of me, because I'm going to turn my head and walk away.
Oh, we were so desperate. My wife was reaching out to anyone. So we even had a contact at PSA that when we had the shop, and she even sent him and say, "Look, would you guys be interested in this? Like, I'll even make the parts for you." All we needed was just some sort of money coming in to, to get some lights back on, So we were just like,
And then you were
and you're the only
bamboozled by
trigger company
Alex
I knew.
Slow.
Pardon?
And then you were bamboozled by Alex.
Well, no, that was after. That was like when I realized I wasn't getting paid. I was like, hang on. I knew, like, when I kept saying, look, and he wouldn't answer any calls or anything like that. So the good thing is with this phone thing, my wife keeps everything. When he sends the where you talk to messages and
A
stuff.
text message.
Yeah, all that stuff. When she does that, she keeps everything. She's really anal about like every contract thing he sent, everything. And that's where Julian wants us. They're taking him to court. He wants us to put all that in paper and do all this shit. And I'm like, man, all I wanted to do in America was fucking come here, make a better life for myself, make some cool gun stuff, and just, I got a new grandbaby. All I wanted to be left alone in my shed, drink some beer, and make some cool shit.
Yeah.
So with that, what is the best? What position are you in now, and what is the best place to help you? Because part of the reason for me to have you on was to talk about the whole situation, iron out all the details, because I didn't have all the details. But what can we do to help you? Is there a GoFundMe link? Is it better just to buy stuff off of your guys' website? Because I can just send everybody to your website. Like, what
we just
would
try
be
to sell
best
them.
for you?
We just try to sell the triggers and all the parts. I don't call it even trigger. It's not a trigger. It's just a parts kit. There's like a bunch of parts, and I'm on my YouTube. I'm more than open about that. People say, "Will it work?" I don't know. Just whack it in and figure it out.
And then they send us clips and information like that.
So we set up a forum, and all these guys have set up all this other stuff where they can. So it's pretty cool, as I said earlier, how all these guys. All I do is give them some bits so that they can make it work and go at it. And all these guys
you have a forum where people can come and work together as like a community to troubleshoot?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and if they tell me they want me to adjust parts or make different parts, yeah, right. Oh, I don't care. I'll have a go.
Yeah, like it's tagged.
Where can people find your forum?
It's on our website at marstriggers.com.
But there's another one they go into. It's called AK something. You need to ask your mum what that's called.
It was just called the AK Forum. That was
the
one that they had on Reddit.
No, there's a different one. Yeah, somewhere else. There's another one that these people have started like a whole.
Is there a thread on AK Files?
Yeah, maybe that's it. Sounds something like that. I don't know. I don't go on it.
Yeah, there could be a thread on AK Files.
What kind of capabilities do you have? What kind of machines do you have?
I've only got one. That's why it takes me so long to sort of pump stuff out. I've only got an MX 1100, Tormac MX 1100, and I make everything on that.
AK files.
AK files. The guy from the FRT is here. I told him you sent him sent their company a message when they're getting screwed. His name's Lawrence. This is my wife. Oh, she's running now. She's going to go on camera. So yeah, that's how desperate we were, mate. We were just desperately trying to anyone to help, anyone to give us just pay for what we'd done. That's all we wanted. We were like,
I'd imagine you've got capacity. If somebody needs something made, you could probably make stuff for them.
Yeah. That's I generally
all legal stuff.
Yeah. Oh, she just said all legal stuff. X-nay on the suppressor nay.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah. But even everyone told me that was legal until I did it. But I like to make stuff that my designs and stuff that I find cool. Like, I'd love to be able to show you that. Well, when I meet you, I'll show you some of the other stuff. Like, most people haven't even seen half the stuff I got designs for.
Yeah.
But I like doing like cool. I love the 1022, man. I'm a massive little 1022 guy. I love it. I love that thing, and I make a really cool chassis with it. And we do all our own engraving here. Everything gets done by me. Like, if someone buys a part, I make it.
Yeah, it's all done in house.
Yeah, start to finish. We do everything here. So Everything. So I don't know. They can go on that Mars website. That's the new website.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's just marstrigger.com.
And yeah, if they want one of them AK
Is it
triggers,
It's Mars, MARS triggers, plural.
Yeah,
I
plural.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, plural.
MarsTriggers.com.
Yeah, it's something to do with like what did Jackie call it? Mechanical assisted reset system.
Yeah, that's exactly
Something
it. Yeah.
like that.
No, that's exactly it. Yeah.
They got their big executive minds together and made a name because they asked me and I said, I don't give a fuck, just sell it.
Hey, so guys, I'm on akfiles.com right now. If you simply just go to the forums and search Mars Trigger, the very first forum that pops up has pages and pages of people troubleshooting the trigger. And there's not just one, there's several. So AK Files has
And I love them guys. I meet them at the shows, and they're the real smart guys. They're the ones that really, you know what I mean? They're the brilliant. Without them, half this stuff wouldn't work because they'll ring us, hey, I had to do this, or hey, can you make me some spare parts? And I'm like, yeah, all right. Why not? What else am I doing? So I'll do them parts and all that sort of stuff and send them out. And if they break a rod, I'll make them some new rods. And some people want them bent, some people want them straight. And yeah, it's just, I'll do it. I don't care. Like, again, I'm not a big company. I'm just one guy in a workshop. So that's all it is. Yeah. Oh yeah. And apart from did you see in that file where that guy called me a redneck?
No, there's many pages. So
so that's all I ever. Someone told me about that on the weekend. I said, "Well, what's wrong with that?"
Yeah,
I mean, the first Australian redneck in Texas.
By the way, y'all's website looks really clean. I'm looking at it now.
My wife did that.
yeah.
Oh, she's doing
There you go. Mom's in the background saying thank
yeah,
you.
she's doing We do everything. We do everything. We don't have people. Like, this is my people.
Yeah.
My people live under this roof.
Dad does the machining. Mom does the website and the billing and all that, and the sending everything
And
out.
he gets me in trouble on YouTube.
Yeah, and I get him in trouble on YouTube. I tried to censor it. You see it sometimes, but no, I still get him in trouble.
Because it's annoying. Yeah, I do like.
I'm sure all of your videos get age restricted.
Yeah.
Oh, probably. But he comes at the end of the day, right? Because he doesn't get home till 5:30. I've spent all day in there as well, and I'm tired. I want to have a couple beers. And he goes, "Oh, we've got to do a video. We've got to do a video." And I'm like, "Oh, what about?" And he just says, "I don't know, whatever." So, and then he doesn't tell me anything about it. So
Think of something.
half our videos are just for like half an hour me shouting. I didn't call him a moron.
Yeah, and I just cut it, make it work.
I know. Like, I don't even know. I don't even watch them. I don't watch them. Half of them are just so I can talk because I've got 2 kids in Australia. We haven't seen for 2 years.
No.
So we missed their 18th birthday, 16th birthday, stuff like that. We miss them.
Yeah.
Well, you're stuck in the country.
Yeah, we can't leave.
can't
We haven't got a passport. ATF have got my passport. And they've got his passport, my wife's passport, and my 8-year-old's passport. He was 7 at the time when they came and raided us. And he still sleeps in my bed right now. I shouldn't say that, but he was so terrible. Like
Yeah, traumatized the poor kid.
Archie's got Asperger's, so he doesn't like change. And when they came with like trucks and guns, and we don't see that in Australia, and they pulled him away from his mum, and obviously he's freaking out and carrying on. And so now he's like, for like a fair while, he was upset and he'd wee the bed and all that sort of stuff. But he sleeps in. He won't sleep in his own bed. He sleeps in our bed still to this day. Like, and I keep saying, when are you going to move out? You know, trying to make a joke. He goes, when I'm 20. Oh, brilliant. I hope he gets a good-looking girlfriend. But yeah, he's that really affected him. Like, really affected him.
Man, I feel like I'm watching an episode of Big Les.
I've got to jump off. I've got a report due literally right this minute, so I'm going to have to make my way.
Well, Jack,
like that reference, mate.
Please,
well, Jack will
reach out to me through Instagram. Send me your email address. I will reach out to you tomorrow, and we'll put something together to get together.
Oh, that'd be awesome, mate. I'll bring the beer.
Yeah.
And we'll be good. But yeah, thank you. Oh, that's fantastic to meet you.
Thanks for allowing me to join.
100%.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Have a good night.
That was incredibly
He's cool.
nice.
I like him.
All right.
Yeah.
Who have I been texting with? Have I been texting with Jordan or Jackie?
Oh, sorry. I don't know, Jackie probably.
Wait, what was it? Sorry, what was the question?
Well, I was asking who I've been texting with because I have one of your numbers.
Oh, that would be my mom. That would be
Jackie,
Jackie.
come here. No,
Okay.
She's standing behind the camera with a blanket round her, drinking.
My mom's a bit camera shy for this sort of stuff.
That's fine. Jackie, I'm going to send you a link for Lawrence's Instagram. And if you want to just message him on there, or I can give him your number. Either way.
Yeah, if you can text me his number and the link to his Insta, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, send all. Yes, we do.
Big fucking Les.
Yeah. What? So if he's Les, am I sassy?
Yeah. Oh, it's sass
what are you doing here? I can't believe Americans have seen that. That's so funny.
Oh, my wife and I are obsessed with Big Sass.
Oh, don't worry. I always thought the tumors were pretty funny. Honestly, man.
Fucking tumors, mate.
Fucking tumors, mate. Fucking. It is. It was made in Microsoft Paint.
Oh God, Jordan.
Still to this day.
He's loving it. He's talking about it. Oh.
I can hear my wife
my dad's not.
cackling in
My
the
dad's never seen that
background.
before.
Dude, anytime we see a Sasquatch, my wife's like, "Oi, sassy!" every time.
What is a Sasquatch?
No, Sassy, don't smoke it. That money's for the orphans. I remember that. I haven't seen it in years, but I still remember it.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, we doing it.
You've been hanging out in Oklahoma too much. Jordan.
Yeah, that's it. I've been hanging out in Oklahoma too much.
Right, I'm back.
He's back. I'll move back over.
It's all right. I peed on the Christmas decorations. And there's no Sasquatches in fucking Australia anyway.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Let's just unbridge.
Yeah.
I have a question. So, are you guys coming to SHOT Show at all? Is that a
I
possibility
can't
for you guys?
afford that.
Hmm.
I don't want to do that.
North Texas.
Fuck's sake.
We need to go fund me. Let's get
Well,
this
that's what I'm
Fucking
saying.
fucking
So,
gotcha.
Jackie and Jordan, you guys got to set up because people in the chat they're asking for it. They're asking for a Give Send Go, a GoFundMe, something where people can just send you a couple bucks, to help you out of the situation. If they.
No,
can
I
go to
don't
your
want
website,
charity. Fuck that. I don't want to take no charity. I've already done that from the church, and I'll pay them back one day too. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Fuck that. They can go on their website if they want to buy something. We're going to get some T-shirts done.
Hey, if
that would be
anything,
good too. That would be good too. Get
if
some merch or
anything,
something.
use a GoFundMe to buy a couple plane tickets and get to SHOT Show at least.
I can't get on a
We can't
plane. I
get
don't
on
have a
planes.
fucking passport. I'd have to drive there.
Right. Yeah, that's a long drive.
Yeah, I don't care.
It's all right. You were wanting to drive the 17 hours to go to North Carolina to go a gun show there.
Yeah, there's a gun show in North Carolina I want to go to. I didn't realize it's 17 hours.
How far are you guys from Las Vegas in terms of hours? Like what?
No.
It's about the same.
15?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, it's
22
about-
hours. I'm north of Houston.
really?
And I've driven it. It's about 22 hours. If you guys are in Paris, I think you're farther away, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably we're in the north corner. Like
Yeah, so
we're right
we-
in the corner.
Just
So-
probably just over a day's drive.
But if they can watch the YouTube channel, maybe YouTube might pay us some money. I
Yeah.
don't know how that works.
I don't think so.
It's doubtful on YouTube these days, but
Yeah.
I was trying to think because I'm going to be at SHOT Show and then I might be in Arizona, so I was thinking maybe I could just swing by and do a video, but I'd have to see if I could actually make it out there sometime.
Anytime you go, any one of you guys want to come and check it out and check out how we make. We try to put videos on how we make stuff, but it
Yeah.
gets boring because I'm standing there
Tell
just
him, plug the kit. So as of
Much more boring machinist videos.
Yeah, I know. Like-
you're gonna have to this
Oh.
as a complete kit. So
Oh, Jackie's doing a spiel on like after Christmas, we're going to put some like triggers that we know are the easy fit and the little sleevey thing that goes because the whole I make is a 6mm hole because that's what the trigger I need to have, and it has a sleeve that you put a sleeve in, and some people want a 5mm hole, which is fine. It's just changing the tool in the thing. But if I'm doing like 100 a day, then I'm like, oh fucking hell, I don't have to keep changing. Tools and touching off and all that
so
sort of
the,
stuff.
the long story is the kit is going to change slightly. So the parts, the 4 main components are going to stay the same, but it's going to have the Romanian trigger in there with the sleeve, and also we're going to, with the hammer, they don't have to use it, but it's there. Plus, it's going to have the recoil buffering. It's going to have the whole kit. Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
I think she's smoking crack.
Man, I thought I had some of the parts here in front of me. I just don't. But the PC's talking about, it's felt very similar to a normal disconnector for an AK trigger. It replaces that piece. And the sleeve he's talking about, AKs vary. So there will be like a little sleeve here that will either take up the slop, or you'll have an AK that won't need it. So it should it should cover all the variances. When I tried their trigger in 2 different AKs, just the one, and in one I did the sleeve.
So I'm definitely gonna buy one of your triggers because I have a Wasser 10, which your trigger should fit just fine for the most part, right?
Yeah. The biggest problem you have is tuning that little stainless rod. Because on my gun, it likes 100-degree bend. Some like a 90, some like a, you just got to get it because you want it to lock in at the, where the bolt slides in the rail. You don't want it to come out because if it comes out, it gets wedged and jammed and all sorts of bad shit happens. But you get that bend right. So if it sits in there nice and smooth, oh, look at that. That's one I made.
There we go.
Oh, hang on. I'm talking about how to tune the trigger thing.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, God. They're not good at being on TV. Bloody Oprah's at it. But, so that's your main thing. You want to make sure there's a really nice connection. So it's like you move the bolt and the trigger locking bit have to move in sync.
Right.
You don't want any slop. You don't want any play. But you don't want it wanting to peel out. So that peels out, and plus, so I use a titanium little retaining bar, little plate. So, and it's bent with an S, which I just bend that by hand. So, but you can tune that too to put more pressure or less pressure on your.
It's acting as a spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'll get my wife to explain it. Apparently, she sits there and makes them.
Well, hey, she was helping you with them.
She is. I don't know. And this is me 1022 chassis I make.
It's just the
yeah,
chassis.
you can show off chassis on stream.
Yeah, that's what this is what I make for little 1022, a little foldy. I make every bit of that. I make the plastic parts. I make everything. So
very cool.
We make all that in house. So I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
Here, I'll put it back up on screen for a second. Yeah, there you
go.
So
it weighs 1.1 pound. Side folds, so you can shoot it like a little Tommy gun if you want. But it's all machined in house. We make everything at that house. So but that's but I like doing stuff like that. I like doing cool, unusual. I don't like to follow people, I like to make different stuff. So
do your own stuff. Well, you know what? Next year I've been looking into getting some parts machined for myself. So I might have to send that to you guys and see what you guys need, because it won't be high volume stuff, but it might be things that you guys can kick out for me.
Well, bring some beer and we'll do it.
Yeah.
Right. We'll do it live. We did have some questions come in the form of super chats. Do you guys mind if we stick around and get through some of those real fast?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So this was a really nice one that I saw pulled up. This is C. Wallace for $10 says, Lawrence, you are an American hero and your story needs to be a movie. We need to bring all the Aussies like these guys over to the USA. Keep up the good work.
That's awesome. Can you my glasses? Yeah. I can't read any of that. I see that too. I'm old.
Oh, and this was a statement from, this was actually a gentleman who was doing the TFB TV videos at TriggerCon with Trigger Empire. This is Luke. He messaged me on Discord and he commented in the chat, so I wanted to make sure that this was read out. He says that it's probably my biggest pet peeve about going to trade shows. Everyone will lie to your face for views and then cry when you call them out on it later. Yeah, on Discord, he said, let me pull this up real fast, get to that. He just wanted to state for the record that he had zero clue at TriggerCon that Trigger Empire wasn't legit, that they were ripping you guys off, because they claimed there that it was new, original, and hadn't been done before. Because I think even on their website, they said that it was like all their own in-house manufacturing and whatnot, and none of that's true.
No, same. I made a damn video on it. Like, I feel like an idiot. Definitely.
But it's not, I don't blame any of you guys. It's I don't care. I watch all that TFB guys and all that, and so I don't care. Like, it's not them. Like, I don't give a shit about that. I just got upset that they didn't even mention where it was made, and they got my machine shop in their
On their
on their website. I didn't even know that till Jackie showed me. And I'm like, you cheeky bastard. No wonder he was standing over my shoulder filming shit all the time. Little fucktard.
Peter.
Oh, yeah. I'm in trouble.
No.
Swearing.
Oh, don't worry. It's all good here. Nick, if you're not familiar with Nick is an actual machinist. So he says, I agree, pay the machinist. Because
Yeah,
Nick is a real machinist.
Damn right, mate. You understand, Nick. It's not like you don't stand there and push buttons. You know, it's a lot more than that. I try to teach him to do it, but he's, you know, I think he's
the politically correct term for is special.
Yeah.
Special needs.
He wasn't touched by God. He was fucking molested by him. What did you say now?
Nick for $5 says y'all need to start asking basic machining questions at industry shows. Weed out the scammers. What's the M code for spindle orient? Bet Aussie knows. Do you know what the M code for spindle orient is?
We should make that a what do we call that? When you buy stuff online,
a discount
code.
Yeah.
So if people can put a discount, we might get 10% off or something.
Yeah.
If people give the right answer, don't say it, Nick. If people can put that on, we'll give them 10% off a trigger.
That's
they have to put the code in.
Yeah, the code's got to be the answer.
Oh, they'll just Google it. But that don't matter.
The internet.
I keep forgetting the internet is But
Kevin, he says for $5, the dining and cussing reminds me of my training with the 2nd RAR, which is the Royal Australian Army. I want to say.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm trying to read it.
RAR.
Yeah, my brother was also a Marine, and he did some training with the Australian Army, and it was a very wild experience from what I remember him telling me about it.
Well, we tried. Train all you.
Willie McDuff, 99 says Australians are honorary Americans. Personally, I'd swap out the Canadians for them in a heartbeat.
That was my favorite comment.
Well, I met a blue-haired woman in a shop once, and she was complaining about America, and we fight really hard to be here. So I said to her, "Hey, how about I'm glad I'll trade my Australian citizenship for your American one. If you hate America so much, fuck off, and I'll swap you. Why can't we do that? Why can't we just trade? If you don't like it and you want to go live in Australia and be controlled up your ass, then go live there. I'd happily do it. I love this place.
I think that's a fair trade. I think that's a fair trade.
Why not? Yeah.
Alexander for $2 says, "What up, my kangaroo cigas?" Got to say that very carefully. Very carefully.
He said the censored version of the N word.
Oh,
yeah,
I better not say that.
Careful, yeah.
Careful.
Tusk third says, "Knew the sneaky hipsters were frauds when I saw the TFB TV video. Looked like they had no clue how to run a business." Yeah, so it sounds like Alex was really the linchpin for all of this. He connected engineers with money and then tried to take it all for himself. It's kind of what I'm getting.
Jackie, my wife's pretty clever at business stuff, and she was like honestly trying to give him. So I've been working gun shows and stuff for a while since we got raided by the ATF. And so if you go to a gun show, I guarantee in Texas, most people I know most people there because there's not many Australians in Texas making gun stuff.
In the north.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're the biggest minority in Texas right now.
I am. I'm special. I'm as special as him.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, we don't have anything else that relates to you guys. So if anybody needs to hop out now, that's fine. If not, I'm just gonna burn through the rest of these and we'll call it a night, gentlemen.
Yep. Sweet.
Yeah, no worries.
Cool.
All right. Just Willing Duff for $9.99 says, "Time to replace all my old Tapco G2s, I guess." Yeah, I heard there's something out there. Yeah. Logan Sucks at Shooting for $10 says, "Obligatory super chat." Thank you very much. Willie McDuff for $9.99 says, "Don't read this, but I don't listen too well." Zulu for $1.99 says, "Because I don't know how to change the dollar amount." Yeah, it happens. Josh Valet for $9.99 says, "This reminds me of the altered LVAW rails. Focus, investigate, please." Does anybody know what he's referring to there?
No clue.
Altered? I have to write this down real fast.
Heard of that?
AW Wales.
It's not the same
I will look at
car.
that real fast. I wonder if that's another scam that somebody's trying to do.
This is like being on that whatever podcast. I didn't know it was like that.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
That's
it's
awesome.
All the comments
it's,
he's reading
it's live
are
show. You
going
got people. Yeah. And I'm gonna turn around and take this dono money and buy a trigger from you. So
Yeah,
So
there you go.
Great.
Joseph
I'll
Fillet for
send you one.
$9.99 says based in Texas pilled. That's right. So I think I asked you guys this at the beginning, but was Texas always the place you had in mind when coming to the US?
I loved it. We came on a few years ago on a cruise. We stayed in Houston. Houston was the first ever like American city I'd ever been in.
Okay.
And man, I loved it. Everyone was saying, "Oh, don't go to Houston." I loved it. It was the best time. And we went down to where the pier and all that sort of stuff was. It was. I'd never seen a pier with roller coasters and all that sort of stuff on it. It was so cool, mate. And the first thing I ever rented was one of them big F-250 trucks, and that's where I went. I went the wrong way under an underpass.
Yeah, we're on the opposite side.
And I didn't realise until all these cars were coming at me. And next thing I went, "Oh," and I pulled over. Next thing there's a cop car pulled up beside us, and he was so cool. He gave me an escort to like the Wall Market so we could get some. We'd never even been in there before. We don't have Wall Market in Australia.
Walmart.
Oh yeah, Walmart. Whatever.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
the
we
Humble
don't have
Marksman
them.
had
Yeah, we
the
don't
Humble
have
Marksman had a great
trucks.
little-
So in
Yeah,
Australia, you can't.
What's
Well-
the biggest store in Australia?
Kmart.
Right. So our stores are like yours. So say you want groceries like food, you go to like a Woolworths or a Coles, but you can't really buy clothes and stuff in there.
No, it's just
Or-
groceries.
it's just groceries. And if you want to go buy like TVs and stuff, you got to go to like a
JB Hi-Fi.
you go to
An
an
electronics.
electronics shop. And if you want to buy shoes, you go to a shoe. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
All our shops aren't like you
they're
don't have.
specific for what they sell. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no bulk ones like Walmart.
So for me, a holiday in America was just. I used to go to Walmart every day, didn't I? Loved it. Just
That's
loved
amazing.
it. It was so cool. All the people in there. I loved it. I still go in there and laugh my ass off. It's the best thing, man. I saw a guy and he was wearing pajamas the other day. I fucking shit my pants.
And it's so
He was
convenient.
That's what you wear to
outside
Walmart.
in his pajamas. So it was good. I like it.
Yeah,
It's fun.
American culture is you'll find everything at Walmart. You'll find people in suits, and you'll find the exact opposite.
Pajamas.
Yeah. Humble had a really funny comment because my kids watch Bluey, and he said it's like Bluey had a cool uncle. I thought this was great. Do you guys watch Bluey?
No. I didn't even know about it.
Yeah. My younger brother and now my son watches it because Mum was. You were watching it with him in there, yeah. Why we were out here, Mum was calming my
And how
son
many
down with
people don't
Bluey.
realize Bluey's a girl?
Yeah, most people don't realize Bluey's a girl. What?
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're dogs. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Tusk has a question about Australian slang. He says, "What's the Australian translation for taking a dump? Cheers, happy holidays, and good luck."
Oh, you're dropping off that. You're going to have a Henry III.
Dropping the kids off at the pool.
Yeah, that's what I always say. I've got to take a shake. But yeah, just same principle. A lot of the stuff's the same.
Yeah.
Like in America's the same. It's just.
Well, what's this shit about the hoop snake? I've heard about
Oh God! Drop bears.
Yeah.
I know.
They
That's
probably
just,
don't even know what a dunny is either.
just something we tell Americans and other people that they're going to get. But
Yeah, there's another one. Yeah, you've gone to the dunny. It's
Dunny?
not
the dunny.
dunny. Yeah, toilet basically.
Oh, that's what got me too. You guys don't call it a toilet. When I went into when I went to Walmart and I said, "Hey, I really need to get. Where's your toilet?" The woman was looking at me, and Jackie goes,
Restroom.
"I'm going to the toilet," and they go restroom, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"All right, run off."
Is-
That's what we
they're
call it,
like,
toilet.
Do you mean an actual? Because you can buy a toilet at Walmart.
Yeah,
So they're
exactly.
like,
That's what's looking at me going, "Oh, I don't know."
Or do you want to go use the restroom?
Yeah, I'm like,
Logan.
Yeah, it's a bathroom for us, not
Yeah.
a restroom.
Yeah. Logan for $10 says, "Here's another 10 for trigger money. I'm definitely planning on getting one of these triggers just because these guys are awesome. Yeah,
Oh,
no,
thank you.
everybody that's here right now, everybody that watches this later, go ahead and check out Alpha Tactical on YouTube and Mars Triggers. I can't
Oh,
leave
that'd be
direct
awesome.
I can't leave direct links to your website, but I can point everybody to your YouTube channel, which I think is pinned in the chat right now and in the description as well, so that people can go there, and then from there they can find your website. So,
Well, it's just more of us. It's just more of me talking about this moron.
Yeah.
And
well, no, your videos are funny. Your videos are
I was
funny.
gonna say,
From the
Jordan
Twitter
didn't come out of
they're very
nowhere.
funny.
mm,
And
So-
Jordan edits all the videos, and then the dad does all the talking.
Well, yeah.
C. Wallace for $10 says, "Do the Aussies like Haas milling centers? We use VF2 Haas. We use
Haas.
VF2 SS and 5-axis options at work. Y'all make so much good stuff with Haas."
Yeah, I know, but I couldn't afford it. It was too much money.
So that's machinist talk. I don't understand any of that. That was all
Well,
Greek to me.
Haas is a really good. They're an American-made milling machine, and I love them,
There it is.
but I can't afford that. They're like Tormac's really good for the money sort of thing. Like they'll do everything they will. They just won't do it as quick, or you just got to take your time. And they don't have as much power and stuff like that. But they're expensive. Maybe I'll get sponsored by Haas. I'd be happy if Coors Light send me. They sent me some socks. I got some Coors Light socks. So
No way.
We're still waiting on the beer sponsor.
I need to. I don't know who sent me them. I don't know if it was Coors or someone. It was like Coors. They're white socks and about that long with Coors, red Coors on them. I was like, yeah, but I don't know where to put them. I was going to pin them up on our, where we do our videos. We just do our videos in the shed.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
You
Don't have.
You should use the Coors socks as stockings for Christmas.
Well, they're only little. This is what this is what I didn't get.
Oh, they're like sports socks?
Yeah. They were like, I'm a 51-year-old man. I don't do sports.
You got a new baby though, so you could use that as like a baby stocking or like a
Beanie.
kid
I
stocking.
can make it a beanie.
The beanie would be good too.
Yeah.
All right,
But-
guys. Before we go,
Yep.
is there anything that anybody wants to shout out? Obviously, Clayco, Kalash, Kamaz. Follow these guys. I'll try and leave at least their Instas or something in the description or pinned comment. Thank you guys for coming on and helping to answer questions. Because John, I hadn't talked to you before at all today. And then Clay, we've like DM'd a little bit or chatted here and there, but never actually like been on together. So thank you guys very much for coming on and telling your experiences with this, because it was very illuminating to me.
Well, I'm going to watch all you guys now because I'll have to get Jordan to find it for me so I can.
Right.
watch it.
Jordan, get the phone.
I wanted to tell you guys at Alpha, if you guys want to come to Kalash Bash, I'll give you all free tickets. If you want to come out and hang out at Kalash Bash for a couple of days, it's in Texas. It's not too far away from you, but you guys all have tickets if you want to come out and hang out.
That'd be awesome. Where's that at?
It's in Eagle Lake, first weekend of April. If you guys want to
that's
come out, don't pay.
There's plenty of
We'll
time.
have tickets for you at the hotel.
Long as there's a bar there, mate, I'll be happy. I'm not hard to find.
There'll be a bar at the campsite, so don't leave. Just hang out for the concert.
Damn, hell yeah.
Sounds
Hell
good,
yeah.
man.
Oh, we'll be there. We'll be there. I'll get Jordan to film it.
Yeah.
And tell your wife Jackie if she needs anything from me, she has my number. So just
Quick,
reach
she's
out and-
quick.
Oh no, she's running away.
Got her.
She's
Hi, Jackie.
hiding.
Hi.
But
Look,
if-
there you go. I'm doing Jordan's job.
Hi.
This is how professional we are. You guys have all your studios. Look where we film. I'm sat out the front. She was putting Christmas lights up for Archie tonight. But
Well, that's the good thing about your guys' channels. It's all authentic. It's not highly produced. It's just guys doing their thing, which is awesome. People love to see it.
told you were shit as a producer. See? And he keeps making me look fat. I'm not as fat as that.
I told him I can edit, but
Yeah,
not
I
that
know.
quick.
I need to get sponsored by that Joey Sawwell or whatever his name is. I need that dude. Get me to get some rid of it.
Oh,
Or some
yeah, I think
Yeah, I was epic.
Ozempic and testosterone. That's all you need, sir.
Oh, hell yeah. Or some more Coors Light. I think Coors Light's a myth because I drink a shitload of it and I ain't lost any weight.
Yeah.
I think it's more
You're just less fat than you would have been. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What's going on? And that's because
All right.
Jackie. Yep. So
Oh,
I won't
no,
go into
sorry.
the beer. No, it's only me about.
Peter talks about Coors Light being light beer, and he says I can drink it because it doesn't have that many, carbs in it. And I say, well, actually, it's still got 100 calories per can.
I don't even
And
know
when
what that means.
And when you drink like 13 minimum of them, you're having a
Do you
whole
know
meal.
how long? Do you know how hot it gets in my workshop? 13 beers is not that much.
It's not really.
It's not. Like, seriously.
Maybe by American standards, but it's not.
God, I can have 13 beers for breakfast.
Oh,
Well,
nice.
we went on a cruise. Sorry to interrupt. We went on a cruise where they say that it's unlimited, and Peter's unlimited ran out at lunchtime, so he was using my card so he could buy a beer.
Don't tell the cruise people that; they'll never let me back on. It's not, no, sorry, Carnival.
It's not.
It was one of them other cruises we went on. It was one of your competitors that were trying to rip me off. But they say unlimited. Unlimited means what? Unlimited. Yeah. Robbing bastards. That's another thing they got to fix. When I'm running this country, unlimited beer is going to mean unlimited beer. That's the first rule I'm changing. The rest of it you guys can figure out.
Spoken like a true Aussie there. All right,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
right.
I think we're gonna cut off the live there. 2.5 hours. I think we got just about all the information out there. Please go ahead and support Alpha Tactical, Mars Triggers. Find everybody in the description. And that was on the panel tonight. Thanks for Lawrence for coming on as well. That was awesome to see
He's
him.
awesome.
Yeah, that was really good. And I hope that he reaches out and you guys get all that sorted out. And if you need anything from me, please reach out. But with all that out of the way, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.